It's thebarlive.com, PMS Pugs Moran Show for a Tuesday afternoon. It is high noon, and we are back at the Sunbrew Showcase Studios here in beautiful, sunny North Dallas, Texas. It's the Sunbrew Beach House. Quiet. Be quiet. There are bikini babes sleeping. What's going on here, Jimmy Ryan? I walk in, and the whole place is shut down today.
Oh, yeah. I didn't actually look around. Is that what's going on?
There's nothing going on.
Yeah?
It's like complete. Well, to be fair, I got a text early this morning that said that Team Sunbrew was going to be sleeping in today because they were up till 5 o'clock in the morning. So,
okay.
So they are going to be rising, any minute now. Maybe we do a little wake-up call. Should we go and wake up Brandon live on the air?
Do we have like a blowhorn or anything?
No. Did you say blow whore or blow horn?
Blowhorn.
Oh, I was going to say there might be one of those around here somewhere. I don't know.
Just crawls out of the closet.
I don't know who else. I don't know who's in the bed with him. That's why I almost want to open the door just to see what's going on in there.
Yeah.
Watch Brandon sleeps with like his hair in a net, and he wears like a white mud mask, or like one of those like masks.
Or you actually just like open up the door and like he sleeps upside down from this hanging from the ceiling.
In boots?
Yeah.
No, he's nude, hanging from those like vertical hanging boots.
Yeah.
Someone has left him there, and we found him. We saved his life. All the blood has rushed to his head. He's been hanging there since like 4:30 a.m. There's like chopped up lines of indistinguishable drugs on countertops everywhere. Which you know that he was, because that's not him. He's like straight edge. How does a guy like him, how does a guy in the life that he's got, how does he stay straight edge? Have you ever asked yourself that? I mean, don't you think the temptation, right? I mean, when I hang around a bunch of girls like that, I always get into something because girls are always into something. But somehow he's not into it.
I don't question good things, though. Can you imagine if like Brandon was like a raging alcoholic all the time?
Yeah.
He'd be like throwing alcohol. Like we would come in, and like he'd still be drunk from last night.
Yeah, but he doesn't have to be an alcoholic. But, just to even engage moderately in that kind of behavior. Because his lifestyle would suggest that he does. Everybody thinks he does anyway. Everybody just assumes that when he's, living the high party lifestyle that he does. Nobody realizes that he's sober all the time. And just like totally ratchet it up. Like if you go to one of his parties and you see him running around, you may think a certain thing, but if you actually have to stop him at one of his parties and try and have a conversation with him for 5 seconds, you totally understand what's going on.
Yeah.
He's like talking to a squirrel with a nut. He's always looking around. He's never paying attention to you.
Yeah.
No, fear, focus on me. No, I can't, man. I got some girl over there. She's doing something shady. It's okay. All right. Go handle that. And then he comes back. Sorry, dude. What was up? Oh, hold on. I got to go handle the DJ. The DJ's playing the wrong music. And then he'll go and he'll disappear again.
It's a good move, though. Like the entire time that I was in radio, my check was basically canceled out by the bars that I would go to. So,
yeah.
I mean, like if you can actually go into bars and not drink constantly, then yeah, good. That's badass.
And still have all the girls around you?
Yeah.
Because that's the trick. That's why. I mean, I don't even know if I'd drink if it wasn't for girls.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, it gets out. I mean, like, especially being out, it can be, like, awkward or something. Get rid of the awkwardness. I think that it's better, though, when you aren't drunk, though, when you're doing that. So I think that it's good all around.
All right. Very good. All right. So he's sleeping until 12:30, and he probably was legitimately working until, like, 5 a.m.
Do you know what he was doing? What kind of event?
No, I have no idea. No, I don't think it was an event. I think he was working. Here, let me check my notes. I'll read you exactly what it said here. Of course, we're talking about Brandon, king of the Sunbrew Empire, who we walked into the Sunbrew house today, and the house was, we had to use our key, had to do all that stuff, which is normally not what we have to do. Use your key. I'll be asleep until 12:30-ish. All right, so he's no hard and solid plans to wake up at 12:30. He's just ballparking that. Worked until 5 a.m. That's all it says.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm sure bigger and better things coming from the Sunbrew organization in light of last night's all-nighter. Right?
What does one do until 5 a.m.? Because, it's not Friday night. It's Sunday night.
It's Sunday night. But, in the Sunbrew world, there is no Friday and Saturday night. Every night is a potential weekend night.
Right.
Which, again, is exhausting to me.
Yeah, that's why I just don't know that I would be able to. Because, I kind of do the same thing. Like, I'll be able to go out most nights, but it's gotten to the point where I'll go out and try not to drink at every once in a while.
Yeah.
spot them out throughout the week because it really does. It just gets insane, and you get tired of waking up hungover, so that's no good.
When was the last time you were drunk?
No, Saturday.
Saturday.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Went to the pool.
So you went to the pool at your new place where you live in the Deep Ellum?
Yep. Yeah, so it happens whenever you go out with friends. It's inevitable that you're gonna be drinking. So
now you moved into a new loft style apartment in Deep Ellum downtown. You've moved away. What's Sam doing now? Wait a second. We haven't even explored what the ramifications are to Sam the Mailman, because you and Sam the Mailman were thick as Steve. What's going on there?
Still working together. Just I went to Deep Ellum at least 4 times a week, and that just turns into a beatdown.
So what? Is he looking for a roommate?
I don't know. I don't know what he's gonna end up doing.
Is he gonna move? Sam doesn't come here anymore. I don't ever talk to Sam. You know, it's like I see him every now and again for whatever reason, and
I think Sam has effectively become too cool for both of us.
Oh, has he?
Yeah.
He wants
I think that's
do
what's going on here.
Oh no, Sam! Oh, that's too bad. That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Well, I bring it up because I might be looking for a place to move in for a couple of months. I need to get out of my place. My place is crazy. So if Sam was looking for a roommate, it might be a place I could flop for a month or so. I'm just saying. Well, you just told me that he's too cool for me, or that I'm too cool, or no, he's too cool for me.
It may be the case.
That would suck.
I mean, you may ask him, he'd be like, "Really?
Really?
Really?
Yeah, I know. Oh boy, then what would Brandon think?
You're gonna be ruining my lifestyle around here."
What did Brandon think when you were living with him? He thought that was weird. Imagine when another guy in his 40s moves in together. It's like the sad divorce guy house.
Yeah.
I don't want to have anything to do with that. Unless, of course, my other option is sleeping on a park bench and,
Well, that is one step up.
Thanksgiving Square downtown.
Although there, it's very festive when you get up.
It is.
It's exciting. You never know what to expect.
They got the fountain right there I can bathe in. It's nice. It's like having an attached bathroom.
Yeah, and you know what? After a little while, you don't even worry about the people looking at you in judgment.
All right, well, we'll worry about that when the time comes. Can you see our other friend on mic here? We've got a friend. I don't know if he wants to be on mic. I don't know if he wants to be on camera. I don't care. It's our buddy Ed. Hi, Ed. How are you?
Jeff, keep that camera away from me.
Say hi. Yeah, you don't need the camera.
Audio is fine.
I hate the camera. Now Ed is, of course, we call him Computer Ed. We've called him Edzilla. We've called him Chicago Ed. All these things you've come to know Ed over the years through whatever incarnation of the Pugs and Kelly show or the Pugs show is. What are you doing in town here, Ed?
Just hanging out with you guys, visiting some clients while I'm here.
Now, you do this you're visiting clients, but this is like a little pro bono work. You're going to check out what we're doing here, hang out with me because we're friends.
Right.
But this is the kind of thing that you do, right? You create web networks and pod networks and all of this stuff.
My core business is general IT consulting. But, yeah, a huge part of it has become this kind of thing. What we're doing at home with I don't know if you want me to mention.
Yeah, no, please go ahead. Yeah, talk I've talked about it before.
The Steve Dahl Network.
Dahl.com.
Dahl.com, which is a growing subscription-based podcast network of entertainers. Steve Dahl, Kevin Matthews. We've got Dino Stamatopoulos out of L.A. now.
Who is Dino Stamatopoulos?
Have you ever? You might easily remember him as Star Burns. From Community on NBC.
Yeah.
Great guy.
Oh, yeah. So how did he get
Chicago and ex-Second Cityan. Well, he's an old friend.
They killed Starburns.
They did.
Community.
Well, did they or didn't they?
Well, that's true. Yeah, you never know with that show.
But if you've ever watched Adult Swim, are you familiar with Mary Shelley's Frankenhole and Moral Oral and those? Those are all Dino Stamatopoulos productions.
Yeah, I knew the guy who played Starburns was actually a bit of a raconteur. He did a whole bunch of other things.
That's the guy. He is completely off the hook. I mean, I almost feel like an enabler when we have him on the network, but he's really great.
So what kind of podcast does Starburns do?
It's really just stories about him and things that are going on in his life and the amount of coke that he does and the vodka that he drinks.
Oh, really?
And,
so he's pretty open about all.
Oh
that
yeah,
stuff.
Absolutely. And it's like I say, I feel like an enabler. But it's really great, and he does things with other people in TV and Hollywood. And Dan Harmon, who is actually the creator of Community, has been doing the show with me the last few weeks. His first show was with I forget Gillian's last name, but one of the other actors that was on Community.
Let's just call her Gillian Anderson.
There you go,
because that's the one we know from the X-Files.
Exactly, but it's not her. But yeah, and that she lasted one show because she, quite frankly, couldn't handle all the honesty and openness.
Now, is that because I watch Community? Jimmy, do you watch Community a little bit, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
The blonde girl.
So that's Britta.
Britta, exactly.
Britta.
Yeah.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Yeah. Yeah. You know he's got to get that Annie I'm so hot for that Annie. Oh my God, she is so cute. What's that girl's name? Anybody know her name? I have no idea.
Not a real name.
I don't know anybody's real name on that show. I know Starburden's name now. Do you know Stamatopoulos? Yeah, I know his name. I know Joel McHale.
I know Joel McHale. That's it.
What, has Dino chimed in on Chevy Chase yet? Have we heard anything about Chevy Chase?
Talked a little bit about it there, during the first couple of shows, but we're trying to angle him to get Chevy on the show. But
now I've read some quotes from Starburns regarding Chevy Chase. Remember we did the whole Chevy Chase is a dick segment where we compiled all of these things that people have said about Chevy Chase over the years, and we just sort of went through the quotes. Dino Stamatopoulos, Starburns from Community, he was pretty rough on him. He said that he was a jerk.
I believe that.
Yeah. All right. Who else? So who else do you got on? Joe Walsh doing something on there too?
In fact, we're actually having Joe Walsh on the show tomorrow on the flagship show of the network, the Steve Dahl Show. Because Joe will actually be in the Chicago area for a gig promoting his new album tomorrow. And we've actually, Steve and Joe have talked about doing a podcast, and Joe's open to it, but it's got to wait till after this little mini tour is over.
Oh, he's on
end
tour?
of the summer, yeah. Promoting Analog Man, his new CD, which is actually really, really good.
Yeah.
A lot of people think of Joe Walsh as an aging rocker, and why would I want to listen to it? It's really, really good.
I think he's an interesting guy. I like when he's a guest on stuff.
Yeah. Great. You might remember, you've been here a long time in Dallas. You might not
10
know
years,
this. You might
over
not know,
a decade.
You might not know the name James Van Osdell.
JVO and I worked together at Q101.
Oh, well, there it is. He was the.
Of course, I know James Van Osdell. I was on his Christmas card list till a couple of years ago.
Okay.
And when you talk to JVO, you let him know that I noticed when I was removed from the Christmas card list.
I can call him right now if you want to have it out with him.
I was always so, years after we worked together, I'm still getting Christmas cards from JVO. JVO is the, what would I call him? He would be the Chicago equivalent to Chris Ryan.
Okay.
How's that?
Yeah.
Like, he's become a known personality, but not necessarily because of his talk work, but because he's so entrenched in the music scene.
Yeah, he was the music director at
alternative
Q101
music and all of that stuff.
But he's doing an interview show for us, and it's excellent. He's actually quite the interviewer, and he's got actually great skills and a great Rolodex of people to bring in.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I used to sit there. This is probably only for people who remember the old days of Q101, which is probably about 5 or 6 of you out there who are going to be hearing this.
Yeah.
This is all very Chicago-centric stuff.
Yeah, very sorry about that, guys.
I remember when I worked at Q101 on the morning show, we had a guy with us named Brian Peruk, who known to you as the Whipping Boy, Whip and all that. Brian and JVO were very good friends, JVO being James Van Osdell. Jimmy, have you ever seen... Jimmy, I bet you're like this. Now that I think about this, you're like this. I used to walk by these two, and it didn't matter where they were. Didn't matter if they were in the break room. Didn't matter if they were out in front of the building. It didn't matter if they were sitting in the lobby. It didn't matter if they were getting their headphones on and mics checked to do something. These two would always find themselves in some completely irrational Siskel and Ebert kind of discussion about some pop band of the moment. Like whether or not they were worthy, whether or not they were... I mean, we're talking about a guy in James Van Osdell that probably knows more about alternative music than anyone I have ever met in my life. He has an encyclopedic knowledge of this stuff. And it's just... Is he still like that? Like, does he still just pull crap out of his head where you're like, where the hell did that come from? How did you know who the original bass player for Korn was before they were even called Korn? It's like stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh, man. It's always impressive. I don't know too much.
It's irritating. It's irritating. It's not impressive. It's irritating. It's like, ugh.
Well, they're coming down judgmental on you.
Well,
you didn't know who the original bassist was of Korn?
Yes.
Before they were Korn?
Yes. And good dude, but...
Originally Carrots with a K, but then they found out that had been taken.
That's right. He reminds me a lot of from the movie High Fidelity, the guys who worked in the record store.
Yes!
That's exactly what it... But unappreciated scholars who, talk down to everybody. But he's brilliant, and his show is great.
Yeah, he was good. They blew up the alternative music station there in Chicago because...
Yeah, it's now bad news talk.
Yeah.
I mean...
Well, it's news. They don't know what it is.
Yeah, they're still trying to flesh it out.
They're going to figure out what that is.
Radio's dead.
Someday. Well, certainly music radio is dead. Certainly it is. Is there even... Are they even... Because here in Dallas, our music stations... What are our prime music stations?
KISS. That's it.
KISS. That's it. That's the only relevant music station here in Dallas. Top 40... a KISS format.
Yeah.
Kid Craddock in the morning, and that's it. Everything else is completely irrelevant. Completely. I mean, there's a couple of classic rock stations, which, as I say, classic rock stations, they got about 5 more years. They'll be around for about 5 more years until the audience just completely dies. Until the audience that wants classic rock can no longer be distracted by music while driving. That's when classic rock will go away.
Whoa, turn it down. There's a lot going on right now.
I can't see. My eyes are. I can't. I gotta, As soon as classic rock's audience is nothing but people driving themselves to the doctors, that's when classic rock is gonna go away. But that's why it's still here right now, because as I say, those are the only people that are still listening to music on the radio. But if you're listening to the radio for alternative music, you aren't into alternative music. If you're listening to the radio for contemporary hit music, you're probably 12 or a 40-year-old soccer mom.
Yeah.
Anything in the middle, no, you're not getting your music information from the radio anymore. It's just not existing.
It's 90s alternative, and then they'll do flashbacks to the 80s every once in a while on the alternative stations here.
Why do you think that is? Because they're trying to get people my age and older, because we're the only people that remember how to use a radio.
Yeah. Yeah, I was really excited about seeing the Cadillac ad. They're just coming out with this, and it's basically
Cadillac followed by a Metamucil ad.
Right.
Well, no, they're actually being really hip on like the front. It's basically like a tablet, their new radio. So like it has like a map.
It's all touchscreen.
Yeah,
it's
but
like my car.
It also has internet on board, like simple internet. So it's the setup for that internet radio mix, where all of a sudden you're gonna be able to use that.
All right, now we've been talking about this. Jimmy and I got into a little bit of a back and forth last week when Jimmy said that everything is going to the internet, that all radio and all that stuff is going to the internet. And the thing that you were, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you were saying that as soon as this happens, what you've just described Cadillac doing, as soon as this happens with every car that's on the road, there's going to be absolutely no need for terrestrial radio anymore, because people are going to be able to pull up whatever they want to listen to on the internet on their cars. Ed, any thoughts on that?
I've been saying that for several years.
Okay, now, what about my contention that we still have a needle in a haystack situation? You're going to have people... What is going to be completely eliminated is the flipping around looking for something. There is too much on the internet for someone to actually sit in their car and scroll through the internet looking for stuff. My contention is that at some point, the stuff that rise to the top of the internet are still going to be the big corporations, because they're the ones that are going to be able to do the marketing that is going to set them apart from the billions of other internet radio listening options.
Eventually, that could happen.
Oh, I think it definitely will. I mean, it's going to be one of those things where you're going to have that word of mouth thing. I mean, right now, I'm basically trying to work out like really cheap advertising strategies for the 2 businesses that I basically set up. And what sucks is that like if you do any of these like bid advertising, essentially like Google AdWords does it, if you do something that a lot of people are using, you have to pay a lot per click. Because there's so many people that are willing to pay a high price for that I'm not willing to pay.
Talk to me after the show. I'll tell you how to get around that a little bit.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
There's a couple of tricks you can do, because I do a lot of SEM, search engine marketing, for myself, my clients. That's a lot of the shows that I do. So yeah, there are specific ways.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's good to hear, because it prices you out of advertising as effectively as. For instance, if you do like a web business, there might be one that's willing to pay $10 a click.
Are you talking about where you show up in search engines?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. That's not just a cluster F, right? I mean, there are people that you can pay to get yourself to. I see it. When you go to Google, the first couple.
Well, the first 3 are you're paying for that. That's PPM or PPC, pay per click.
Yeah, they sort of pertain to what my query was, but they may not necessarily be exactly what I'm looking for.
And that's because those companies just put random words out there. You want to piss off companies like that?
Yeah.
Click on it because it costs them money.
Right.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So they don't make money when I click on the ads?
No. It costs them money. They are paying to be the top 3.
Oh, that's right.
So if they're not part of your thing, you want to get back in the middle, but click on that.
Wow. Okay, I had never thought about that. I don't really know that I have an axe to grind against.
No, I'm just saying.
Whatever company it is, but it's interesting to know that if it is a company that I have a problem with.
I do it with Microsoft.
Time Warner Cable.
A lot during ME.
Right.
On all the Microsoft ads. Because they were really pushing ME at the time.
What is ME? See, I don't even know what ME is.
The worst version of Windows ever made.
I thought that was Vista.
No, this was before Vista.
That's all I know.
Millennium Edition. This was Vista was this decade's version of ME.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that sounds good. guess. I don't know. But, Ed, you've been in town here now for almost a week. Yes?
9 days.
You've been in 9 days?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Really? God, it doesn't seem like it. I've only seen you twice.
Yeah, I know.
It ain't 2005 anymore, Ed.
No,
it's 2012 or whatever it is now. I'm sorry, but so how you been keeping yourself busy? What is a guy who doesn't live here, who's familiar with the area? What is a guy like you? What do you do when you come to town? I know you got a couple of friends spread out.
I got some friends spread out. I've seen Emil a few times and visited a couple of regular haunts.
Did you go to the JFK spot 3 times already?
No, I don't need to do that.
Not yet.
I did that once, like 13 years ago. That was enough. I saw the X. I'm good.
No, you went to a Ranger game on Sunday night.
Yeah.
How was that?
Outstanding.
Was
one
that
of my favorite ballparks? As a lifelong Cub fan, the Rangers have been my adopted team for a long time.
Yeah.
The National League, and I'm very happy to see how that team's turned around in the last 5 years.
Yeah. Okay. Now, let me. I actually didn't think you went. I was waiting to pounce and go, oh, so the dude didn't take you. Okay. All right. Because I thought for sure that you weren't going to go to the game on Sunday. All right. But you said you did. So you had a good time?
Actually, I didn't go with that dude.
Ah! Okay. All right.
He did. He was actually busy, so I ended up going.
But the person who invited you then flaked at the last minute and you ended
well,
up going.
he has some issues at home right now.
Who did you go with?
I went with myself.
Oh, even when there's not issues at home, there seems to be issues. But we won't go into that. All right. So you just went by yourself?
Yeah. And then I met Emil afterwards.
Oh, man. All right. But I can.
Because I tried to call you to meet up afterwards.
I had my kid.
Yeah, he had Mason.
Yeah, I still had the kid. Kid got bit by something. I don't know what's happening there. Yeah, he got bit. I went to go pick up my kid on Friday, and apparently he got bit by something. We don't know what he got bit by. Probably. No, not like a chunk. It's not like he went swimming in the lake and came back missing half his arm. No.
Or hanging out by a head shop.
No. He's got like a little spider bite or something on the back of his leg.
Yeah.
And I went to pick him up on Friday, and his mother was like, this doesn't seem to be going away. Happened a couple of days ago, so I had to take him to the doctor, and then he had to be on medication. He's on medication now. I don't know how it's going, but because of that, we couldn't go out in the sun because he couldn't get it exposed. It was crazy. So I pretty much did nothing this whole weekend.
Speaking of being out in the sun, there's a site that I talk about all the time called Reddit, and over the this past weekend, it was the big Reddit meetup where everybody all around the world gets together in their own cities and gets together. Boy, have I never seen so many white people at the lake before.
Really?
Oh, man, just the most bare white people. I mean, like, if you look at the pictures,
so it was like a Reddit party at, where were you, Lake Louisville?
Yeah, Lake Louisville. Okay. It was basically got like 6 different camping areas like all across the lake. It was awesome. But you see these pictures, and there's one token black guy who like is hilarious.
And he wears glasses. Right, he's hilarious because you're all white guys and you're stricken with white guilt. So everything he says is Eddie Murphy caliber.
Well, and then it also shows just like how white everybody is, though. I mean, like because him in the picture, and then boom. I mean, like it almost looks like they are like glaring the sun right back into the camera.
Was he like a nerdy white guy?
Or
a nerdy black
guy? Kind of. Yeah, he kept on like going around the party going, yeah, I came with him, so he's cool. And then he would go up to somebody completely different. Yeah, I came with him, so he's cool, because everyone's saying who brought the black guy.
Who brought the black guy? Really? People were saying that?
Well, it was like just the joke, like
wow.
So yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun, a lot of geekiness, but it was good.
What about girls? What kind of girls are coming out to a Reddit party?
You know what? That's actually not as bad as you would think that it would have been.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's really not.
Really?
No, because for me, it's okay. If we're talking about Brandon, he's not going to go to this place and be like, oh, I found some bikini models. It's not going to happen. But you are going to find attractive girls that are also very intelligent. Like they actually have like really good conversational skills,
but they're pale.
Yeah. So, well, a couple of them were all right. Yeah, but
not a lot of implants. I'm guessing.
No. It's definitely not that. No.
No hair extensions or implants.
No, these are definitely the people that are
cute
trolling
nerd
people
girls?
on the comments of people that get implants. So, cute girls.
Cute girls.
Cute girls. Yeah, cute kind of nerdy girls.
Nerdy.
Yeah.
Pasty. Girls.
Yeah.
Can't go into
pasty never sounds good.
Pasty doesn't sound good. No.
There were some that were pretty cute though. Yeah. So it wasn't as bad as maybe the last couple of years.
What now? How does this work? So you're out in the sun and you're running around. I mean, is everybody constantly on their like smartphones and stuff like that?
No, you would think so, but
is everybody uploading constant pictures of your Reddit party?
See, like I think that's what everyone assumes whenever you get there, and everyone actively tries not to do it. You see what I mean? So like everyone gets there and assumes that everyone's going to be on their smartphone. So because of that, they put their phone like way off to the side. There's like a pile of phones when you get there.
I imagine a lot of fat guys. Right?
Yeah,
like for the most part, like 80% of the guys are overweight.
Oh, believe me, the pictures that came from this, you would say, yep, that's about what I expected.
Where can I find these pictures?
If you go to reddit.com/r/Dallas.
Okay.
It's still on the front page of that. So
reddit.com/r/Dallas.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go to that in this break. I'm going to look for some people. Here's what we're going to do, Ed. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. While I got you here and you here, I want to talk. Usually I would push this back to the end of the show, but I want to do it right here because it's the top of my mind. There was a documentary. I love the documentaries, right, Jimmy Ryan? Well, HBO has begun their summer documentary series. Are you familiar with what HBO does?
Yeah.
They did it last year. Ed, are you familiar with these HBO documentaries?
Yes.
They're fantastic. I forgot what they call them. Something about summer. Every Monday night at 8 o'clock on HBO, they will debut a new documentary by a filmmaker on a subject that is quintessentially HBO. If it's there, it's usually something very interesting. Last year, did anyone happen to see the documentary that HBO aired last summer during their documentary festival about superheroes? Has anybody seen this? Oh my God. Really? You must. Seriously, it's like one of the coolest, most hysterically funny documentaries I've seen in a long time. Basically, a documentary film crew goes around the country and interviews. Every city's got one of these crazy people who think they're a superhero.
Right.
And they wear costumes and they go around. There are huge internet communities based on these like little internet justice leagues where
they take it serious.
Yeah, where Mothman from Seattle will be talking with the Bat Boy from Orlando, Florida, and they'll be comparing notes. This documentary is hysterical. I mean, these people are they're all really over the top nerdy, and they're they don't have much of a social life, so they sort of create this alternate universe, but they're also they're also the furthest thing from what a superhero should be. Like, there's a guy who
You mean Secret?
What? Yeah, Secret is one good thing, yeah. But then there was one guy who he was a karate man, but he was only like a yellow belt. He'd only been training for a couple of weeks or something. But he was way into the karate, so he was it's really great documentary. At any rate, HBO debuted a new one last night. Anyone know about the one they aired last night? Am I speaking out of turn, or is this going to be a surprise to you? Last night, they did a documentary called Chris Crocker at the Zoo. Now, do you remember Chris Crocker?
Yeah, the YouTube guy, right?
Leave Britney alone! Remember this guy who became a viral sensation? Well, it was all about his life. Not after Britney, but before Britney, during the Britney thing, and what he has been going through since being the Britney guy.
I can't tell you how many times I've wondered, what was Chris Crocker going through?
Well, it was interesting.
The days before.
It wasn't so much about Chris Crocker specifically, but more about the phenomena of being an internet meme. What that does to your life. How you go from being...
You remember the "Don't Tase Me, Bro" guy?
Sure, yeah.
I always thought that, don't tase him. Go find Chris Crocker. That's who we should tase.
Well, now, hold on a second. Now, I've watched a 2-hour documentary on Chris Crocker, and I think you need to leave him alone. There is something wrong with that guy.
Leave Chris Crocker alone!
Yes, leave Chris Crocker. By the way, the video, the documentary was called Chris Crocker at the Zoo. Do you have any idea why it was called that?
Was he at the zoo?
No, tell me, Billy Squire.
What is the relevance of at the zoo to the internet YouTube generation? Anything? I'll tell you when we come back. Quick break. We'll come back. It is thebarlive.com PMS, the Pugs Moran Show for a Tuesday afternoon. We'll be right back after this. It's thebarlive.com, PMS, the Pugs Moran Show, for a Tuesday afternoon live from the Sunbrew Summer Beach House located in beautiful North Dallas, Texas. Jimmy Ryan is with me. We're also here with... Hi, Jimmy. How are you?
Doing good, man.
Sorry, I said Jimmy Ryan is with me, and then... we also have... I didn't mean that. I meant Jimmy. I was going to...
Yeah, and then...
Ed, our buddy Ed from Chicago, the
Hello.
computer genius, Edzilla, Computer Ed, all of that stuff. You got some problems going on with your other shows right now?
No, this has nothing to do with the shows, other clients.
Oh, other clients?
Taking care of it on my phone.
Oh. Because your shows don't break down? Is that what you're telling me?
Correct.
Okay. Well, lucky you. Hey, Anthony Davis. Here's a quick one. You know who Anthony Davis is, Jimmy Ryan? Not a clue in the world.
No.
Really? Okay.
I don't think so, anyway.
Probably going to be the number one draft pick in the NBA this Thursday.
Oh, I
out of
definitely don't
Kentucky.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's done something brilliant. He's done something that I've been saying. This guy's been the number one basketball player in college basketball for the last year or so, maybe a little bit longer. But he's got an obvious physical issue that before he emerged onto the world stage, he should have taken care of, but he didn't take care of. And that is an insane unibrow. Anthony Davis has... Here, I'm going to show you this picture.
Okay.
All right, that's not even a great picture of the unibrow. But do you see his eyebrow?
Right.
It's definitely a pronounced unibrow. Anthony
Yes,
Davis
I've
there from
seen
University
that.
of
Yeah,
Kentucky.
it's
All
brutal.
right.
This is
Southside kid, by the way. Southside of Chicago.
when you're going to be
Stop
a
the
first round pick for any professional sport, I assume that you have a girl that's kind of attached to you because
Right.
that's usually the way it goes down. And the thing that I do appreciate and miss about a good relationship is how brutally honest they become after like a couple months of being together. Someone needs to tell him about the unibrow. Like, is he not aware?
What's going on there? Right. I mean, it comes together on the bridge of his nose.
Yeah.
And that should not be. Look at you. You got a good 2 inches between your unibrow, or between your eyebrows.
Between my unibrow, yeah.
Guy doesn't. It's like his eyebrows are high-fiving right above his nose. However, there may be a method to his madness here. Anthony Davis trademarks his brow. Trademarked his unibrow.
For
Wow.
what purpose?
I don't know. Mark, I don't know. But it's his thing and he's owning it. And I kind of like that. Because it seems to be easy to just drag a bic down the top here,
Right.
just kind of get. But maybe he looks weird with it, but maybe he looks weirder without it.
Is that possible? I've never seen anybody say, man, they really need to get those things together.
Anthony Davis, who will likely be taken as the number one overall pick in this Thursday's NBA draft by the New Orleans Hornets, is getting down to business. Literally, Davis, known for his connected eyebrows, trademarked the phrase "fear the brow and raise the brow" earlier this month. I don't want anyone to try to grow a unibrow because of me and then try to make money off of it, Davis told CNBC. Me and my family decided to trademark it because it's very unique. How's somebody going to steal your eyebrow? How's that going to be? You're the dude. First of all, the only reason that we care or are making notice of your eyebrow is because you're a spectacular basketball player.
Right.
So anybody else that's going to try and copy you with the eyebrow is also going to have to be a spectacular something or other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's not going to take off otherwise.
No, people aren't just going to grow unibrows because suddenly Anthony Davis has a unibrow.
Everyone's known that the unibrow is on the table. They actively go
Been an
against
option.
it.
It's been an option.
Go out of our way to go against it.
The mullet is the option. We've got a lot of options when it comes to hair on the human head. I just don't think that that's one that people seek out. Davis said that people frequently tell him to cut it, but Davis said he won't because everyone's talking about it. That is true. That is very true. He is the reason I knew who he was before, everybody. I mean, I knew who he was when college basketball fans knew who he was.
Yeah.
Now, even NBA fans know who he is, or other peripheral basketball fans know who he is because he's really good. And the brow makes him stick out.
Yeah.
You look at the 7-foot guy with this ridiculous 10-foot wingspan or whatever, and you see the brow. Whoa, that's a mutant.
It's like the peacock effect. Yeah, you definitely have that standing out.
During Davis's freshman year at Tucky, where he led the Wildcats to a national championship, Davis didn't capitalize on all the brow merchandise that was being sold due to NCAA rules, which would compromise his eligibility. The school kept a close eye on merchandise that's selling any. The school kept a close eye on merchants selling any brow merchandise. We sent a half dozen cease and desist letters, said Jason Slater, the school's associate athletic director for marketing. But towards the end of the season, people were getting really creative. Schlater said the brow alone was not enough to stop the cottage industry that emerged in Lexington, but anybody that put Anthony's number 23, his name or his face in the design was contacted. One store, the Blue Zone, which sold brow t-shirts, was actually the first to trademark the phrase "Fear the Brow" earlier in Kentucky's basketball season. Davis recently signed with Arn Tellem of Wasserman Media Group to represent him. The only endorsement deal he said he has signed so far is a draft night deal with Sprint, pitching the company's Watch Live app, which will allow Android users. All right, at any rate, I can kind of understand that. I mean, that's his thing. People are going to start selling T-shirts and making money off of his thing. He's got a right to be like, hey, that's my thing.
Hey, I'm all for it. I'm actually kind of excited about it. I mean, like, I like it when like teams, because I like sports, especially when it starts getting really interesting, like the finals or like the playoffs in different sports. Even hockey, I'll watch like the Stanley Cup. But like one of the things that I always think is funny is when like a team has a really crappy thing that they all do. Like, for instance, like I know that I'm going to get flack for this, but here in Texas, the Rangers and the antler thing.
Yeah.
That is just ridiculous.
That's cute.
No, it's nothing.
That's the way you get a community behind your team. Some sort of grassroots
you start
organic.
winning. That's how they got the community behind their team.
That's
like,
true.
There's nobody that was paying attention to the Rangers. When they built that ballpark, everyone was like, well, who's going to go?
I know.
Who's going to go? So, I mean, like, now they got the antler thing.
Now it's the hottest ticket in town.
It is. I mean, like, it's very difficult to get a ticket now.
102 the other night, and they sold it out.
Really? Oh, it's insane. But yeah, that thing, now we're going to find out that this guy ends up getting drafted. He's going to be on the Nets. There's going to be people in Jersey writing in a little brow there, talking about fear my brow.
Here's what's going to happen. Schick, Gillette, somebody is going to plop down a whole lot of money in front of him, and he's going to shave the brow. He will shave the brow in a TV commercial.
Oh.
He's got to. It'll grow back. Worse. It'll grow back. It'll just, the part that he shaved will be thicker and more pronounced. So now he'll have like a middle eyebrow right there above the bridge of his nose. All right, before we went into the break there at the bottom of the hour, we talked about a documentary that I wanted to mention. We got a bunch of computer guys here. We're doing a computer show. We're doing a lot of stuff with YouTube and all of that crap. So I was interested in last night's HBO documentary called Chris Crocker at the Zoo. Now, once again, Chris Crocker is the leave Britney alone guy. A meme, right, Jimmy? Isn't it what we call these guys?
Meme? Yeah, meme.
Tell people what a meme is.
Basically,
and hold on. Is it meme or is it meme?
Meme. That's the way I've always said, meme. Yeah.
I think it's meme. But okay, all right. But the E with the M and the E.
Yeah. No, I think it's meme.
Like the French spelling of cream? I don't know. All right. I'm going to continue calling it meme.
Yeah.
But
I'm sure it's fine
whatever,
either way.
It's fine. Okay. What is that? What is a meme?
Usually it starts out on a place called 4chan where basically just anything goes. People will post the most random things. Every once in a while something will get enough attention, a picture, a something, where all of a sudden it starts getting passed around. People start photoshopping
and that's
it,
where we
weird
say
things.
that's where we call it. It's going viral.
Yeah. Essentially, well, right there, it's still kind of like boiling. It's kind of like just before the water starts boiling, you know, because that's where they really kind of figure out how it's going to work. Like, for instance, have you seen like the crazy girlfriend, like the two?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. You know, that's a girl from UNT.
Oh, really?
Ed, are you familiar
Good to
with
hear
this?
because I'm so into her.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you familiar with the crazy girlfriend meme that's going around?
No.
Okay. It started out as a Justin Bieber parody, right?
I'm actually going to start stalking this girl now.
You're into her?
Oh, she's so cute, man. Have you seen the video?
Yes, I've seen the video, but the whole point of it is that she's insane.
No, she's being funny. She's being funny.
All right, explain to Ed what it is.
Well, essentially, it's just the girl or meme.
I like the still photos because there are certain still photos where she really looks crazy.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just basically this girl who's singing a song about how she's like always going to be like right on top of you if you're her boyfriend.
It's a Justin Bieber thing.
Yeah. So it's just really funny. But things like that will end up like maybe somebody says, oh my God, this girl is so dumb. This is the way 4chan works. And puts up the YouTube video. And then people will start taking screen captures, putting new things over the top of it, turning it into something. And then it usually goes to Reddit after that and starts getting more and more attention. That's when it usually forks out.
Like
and
the
starts
Hitler
going to,
video.
Yeah.
The ever-present Hitler video for whatever sports team or.
All right, hold on. Will crazy girlfriend be a good way to look for her? I want to pull her up here.
Yeah, crazy.
Actually, why not pull up the
Overly attached girlfriend, I think is
That's
the
what it
actual
is.
name.
Yeah, that's what it's called. Overly attached girlfriend. All right, hold on. Yeah,
So she's at UNT, huh?
yeah, some folks at Central Track, Pete Friedman and some other folks, they actually put a reporter on finding her because there were some rumors. They put it out there on centraltrack.com, and people had said, that's a girl, she goes to UNT, she lives in Denton. So they put some people, out to investigate her, and it turned out, yeah. So they've corresponded with her and all of that stuff. There's overlyattachedgirlfriend.com already.
Oh, I'm sure there's tons of different versions now.
Jimmy,
What?
she's weird looking.
No, she's cute, man. She's one of those geeky cutes.
Yeah, all right. Here, let me plug this in. We'll play it here. Why not? We'll pull it up. This is the and we're bringing this up because again there was this very interesting documentary on HBO last night concerning Chris Crocker, who was one of the first really big ones of these people that make a YouTube video or something and go viral. All right, let's give a listen to this. This is I think this is Overly Attached Girlfriend. This is the current.
You're gonna have an advertisement.
I sure am.
There you go.
There's the ad. But lucky for me, I can skip it in 2 and 1. All right, here we go. Let's give this a listen. Oh yeah, so she's like a sophomore at UNT.
I don't think that means that she can drink, so that's no good.
Well, let's give this a listen.
Crazy Eyes.
Oh, this isn't the see. Here's the problem: you can never find the original.
If I was your girlfriend, I'd drive you up the wall. Question who you're with, yeah, I'd always call and call. I wouldn't call it jealousy, just looking out for you. Reading all your texts, watching everything you do. Nag on you. Ask all about your past. And Facebook stalk you too. I don't care about them.
I can already
just
tell you
care
this girl
about
puts
us.
the
Just
C
tell her
in
to a
UNT.
girlfriend you should trust, yeah.
Oh my God. Really?
It's got over 1 million hits.
Oh, it has a much more than that.
Well, this particular video,
Yes.
has 1.4 million. But yeah, the original one's got like 20 million now.
Yeah, it
or
has
something
to.
like that.
It's kind of catchy.
All right, let's listen.
And shave your face for me. Don't hide secrets in your house, 'cause boy, I stole the key. So tell me if you like her, don't try to say you don't. I can see it in your eyes that you want to try and go, but that ain't the right choice, yeah, you already know. I'm gonna make you stay with me and be mad if you don't. Girlfriend, I will be your girlfriend.
What's this?
I will be your girlfriend.
I love that part.
Crazy Eyes don't lie.
Hold on.
I will be your girlfriend. I will be your girlfriend. I will be your girlfriend.
Yikes.
She will. What is wrong with you?
What is wrong with me?
There's
It's
something
obvious
wrong
that
with
she's...
you to be attracted to this.
No, I'm attracted because it's obvious that she's making this as a joke.
Obvious?
And, oh, yeah.
I don't think it's a joke.
No, it is. It's admittedly
Come on.
a joke.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a joke. And any girl who has the balls to put a video of her singing horribly, nobody would listen to themselves sing like this and be like, oh, I think that this is going to be a new hit. She's doing it because it's hilarious. And yeah, so I think that's totally attractive. She realized that she could do crazy looks. And if you notice, if you
Now,
watch
this is a
video,
Justin Bieber song she's singing, right?
I think so.
With your girl, I'll be calling you my husband. I just made a list. All our future kids' names. Bartholomew, Clarence, Steve, and Bryce. I'll never let you leave. Take under your sleeve.
All right, I can see why that's fun. All right, so there you go. That's the hot one right
full
now.
of copyright infringement, but we'll let that part go.
Yeah, 1 million hits. That's all that matters. People don't care about money. I don't know how I pay my rent with hits, but yeah, hits. It's all about hits. All about hits. So HBO did a documentary about Chris Crocker, one of the first guys to do this, the Leave Britney Alone guy. Now, this guy, do you know his story? Does everybody know his story? He's from Bristol, Tennessee. I mean, I felt bad for him. This is a guy that was born in the wrong place. This is a guy whose entire life has been a struggle. And anything that's wrong with him now at 22, 23 years old, which is what he was only 19 when the Leave Britney Alone, anything that he is now he's a complete product of his environment. Do you know that he didn't go to school? They pulled him out of school in like the 8th grade because he couldn't go to school without getting the crap beat out of him every day. Wow. So he had to be homeschooled, and that's how he got like completely into like videos and all of that stuff. The documentary on HBO is called Chris Crocker at the Zoo, and I asked people, I said, what do you think that means? Well, it turns out the very first YouTube video that was ever uploaded to video was somebody, anybody know the name of the guy who invented YouTube? One of the guys or something? Let's call him Ben. The very first YouTube video was called Ben at the Zoo. And it was because when they were trying it out and they had they were ready to put a video up, the first place he went to was the zoo and took some pictures of the animals. So now around the YouTube offices, they still refer to it as the zoo, as that's where you work. You don't work at YouTube, you work at the zoo. And Chris Crocker sort of embodying what that whole YouTube viral sensation is. It was called Chris Crocker at the Zoo. This guy's mother, Chris Crocker, was raised, first of all, he was raised by his grandparents because his mother had him when she was like 14 years old. The father was not around. The father skipped town. The mother's a train wreck. I mean, the mom is a prostitute and a meth head and all of this stuff. So the strange little gay kid has to be raised by the grandparents, and the grandparents are much older, and they can't. It was just such an interesting, fascinating story. After the whole thing blew up, he immediately signed with an agent. He moved out to L.A. He had a television show that was, in the works. Then there was a big viral campaign to blackmail, or not blackmail, but sort of pressure the production company that was giving him his TV show to not, to retract the order. And by that point, it was six months in, and the heat wasn't on Chris Crocker and leave Britney alone anymore. So they just canceled his deal, and he's living in L.A., and now he's doing club appearances for like $300 a night where he goes out on stage, and people just throw crap at him and yell at him. It is awful. I felt so bad for this guy. And, we sit here in our antiseptic little worlds and we watch these videos and we see Chris Crocker and we want to beat him with a shovel. The leave Britney alone guy. But then just pull all of that crap away and you're talking about a real person. A real person who's weird. All right, so everybody that's weird that you encounter in life, you walk up to and threaten, you throw a red Solo cup at because they're weird. I mean, it's just... his life has really been destroyed by this. I mean, completely destroyed.
To be fair, though, I would not throw a Solo cup at Chris Crocker if I saw him on the street. But the thing is...
But the anonymity of the internet allows you to say some of the worst things. People found his phone number. People were threatening his home. I mean, over a Leave Britney Alone video, you people are going to... I'm saving... One guy was like, I'm saving my money. I'm coming to Bristol, Tennessee, and I'm going to kick your ass on your front... Stuff like that. Stuff like that. This poor guy, he's a weird, broken individual to begin with. And then we put him on
The worst
YouTube.
thing that's going to come is they're going to send pizza to his house. I mean,
That's not the worst thing. I mean, bad things happened. Bad things happen. People are cowards on the internet. Anonymity allows people all sense of muscles. Everybody gets tough when they're anonymous and commenting on a video or something. But some of these people actually take it to the next level. And it was sort of an indictment in how we have absolutely no empathy for other human beings anymore because of the sterile, anonymous environment that the internet has created. I mean, have you ever known anything different? I mean, I look at you, you're a 30-year-old guy. You've been entrenched in the internet your entire adult life. I mean, I don't know. Do you think it's making people meaner? And that's sort of what the idea of this documentary was. Right. Has the internet allowed people to be more, not more social, as all the social networking suggests, but antisocial?
No, everyone just is freaking out right now and acting as if that's the case. There are some times in which people are going to be a little bit more awkward, and yeah, there are going to be some rare instances where somebody really does act out on some comment thread or something, but really when it comes down to it, people know that there are humans on the other end of YouTube videos, that they're the ones that created it. I think that it's funny, though, that, on Chris Crocker, we were talking about this earlier, would you throw a Solo cup at him? No, of course not. He's living his life. I happened to run across him on a road. But if you're going to do something crazy, post a video, just like that girl did. The reason why I respect that girl is because she made a shitty video and she posted it anyway. because she knew it was a shitty video. Chris Crocker put that up. I don't know why. If you went further back into his videos, he was just acting crazy on his on the videos. I mean, like, that's all he really did on YouTube.
And you know, his videos, he had already had videos with 1 million plus hits before Britney.
He was huge already.
Yeah, he was already this sort of persecuted,
attention-seeking person. Yeah, that's exactly what he was. And he got what he wanted.
He got it all right.
Yeah, but see,
in spades.
I have no sympathy for somebody who goes out there and whores himself out for attention and then says, "Oh my God, reel it back, guys! I got the attention now."
But you say that he was just out there looking for attention. When you actually find, well, that's because it's easy to just snap judgment on something we don't know anything about. Watch the documentary and you'll realize
it
he's not
YouTube. For attention.
Here's why. You want to know why?
Why?
Because the kid basically didn't leave his room for 5 years. He couldn't go
Tunnel
out in
vision,
public.
yeah.
Now, he couldn't go out in public in Bristol, Tennessee because he chose to put on a dress and walk around like a woman.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but this speaks to a greater problem that he was having. I mean, this is a damaged individual. So YouTube to him, he had, like he says, he goes, excuse me, I started out doing this and there were no videos. I would do 100 videos and there were no views, no nothing. I didn't have any friends. I mean, he really didn't have any friends except for his grandma and his grandpa. So he would go on YouTube and he would make these videos where he would just start screaming about people in his hometown, knowing full well that no one was ever going to see it. But it was his release. He had nowhere to go. He couldn't go anywhere. So he created this little fantasy world in his room. And then the Britney Spears video takes off. And all of a sudden, everybody's talking about him. Everybody's like, it was sad because he was already being beaten up by everybody in his hometown. And then the video goes out. Someone discovers it. It gets passed around. And now the whole world is berating this kid.
Yeah, and now he's having to do horrible things like go on this show called Tosh.0 and do random TV shows. No, you put it on YouTube. You wanted to get attention. You got the attention. It ended up backfiring on you. But it's just like us doing a radio show. If somebody puts in the comments, you guys suck, we signed up for that. We signed up to do the radio show, and we are going to get crap for it if it isn't a good product.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I don't know. I think you should watch it, though. I have a completely different take on this guy, as is the case anytime you watch a profile on anyone that you think you've already got an impression of. The reason that they make the profile is because people already assume they know this person. And look, I don't like the guy. I don't like him. I think he's weird. I think he's creepy. I don't want to hang out with him. But I also don't want to be mean to him. I understand that there are certain people who are broken in this world, and everyone has feelings. And he didn't do anything. I mean, when you think about what it was that he did, all he did was plead for people to be nice to her. That's it. That's his crime. And he was over the top, and he was overly dramatic, and a lot of people had a lot of fun with it. And because he's not a real person, he's just someone that exists on this video, it's okay to say and do the most hurtful things to him.
You're overly sympathetic. Look, the guy...
Overly sympathetic.
You are, because the thing is that he's even on top of this, going out to events and getting paid money to show up as Chris Crocker, the guy from YouTube. If he was really over it by now, he would already be done with that. He'd be working an office job.
Well, he is. When was the last time you've heard of Chris Crocker?
I guarantee... Well, he was on Tosh.0 last year, so that was the last time.
Yeah.
I mean, like, if he got offers to go do Ellen tomorrow, he'd be on Ellen, and he'd be the YouTube guy. So, I mean, like, he's not downplaying the idea. Whenever it works for him, he's happy about it. He was so happy that week that the video went viral.
He had something like 15 million YouTube views before the Britney thing. The Britney thing added like 120 million YouTube views. The guy's got like almost 200 million YouTube views on his channel. And only recently has YouTube made him a partner. Only recently. All the Britney stuff, YouTube didn't want to have anything to do with him. Right. All of that stuff. But now he's making like $3,000 a month. $3,000 a month for making these videos, and he's
life turned out pretty good for him.
No, it's not. I mean, he knows that it's over. He's seen his numbers go down and down. Nobody wants.
Do you know how long I've had to work to make partner on YouTube? I still haven't made it. I mean, like, so screw this guy. He's making it all right. He's getting $3,000 for that, $300 a night to go to these little events.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. We've got more PMS, the Pugs Moran Show. We'll leave you with a little overly attached girlfriend, the latest massive YouTube viral video that's going around. Check it out. It's on HBO. It's running all week. It's called Chris Crocker at the Zoo. Interesting documentary about these viral personalities. We'll take a break. We'll come back. It's PMS. Pugs Moran Show on thebarlive.com.
I just made a list. all our future kids' names. Bartholomew, Clarence, Steve, and Bryce. They'll never let you leave without a small recording device taped under your sleeve. And you'll only look your best and shave your face for me. Don't hide secrets in your house, 'cause boy, I stole the key. Na na na, na na na, na na na, yeah boy. Na na na, na na na, na na na, yeah. Na na na, na na na, na na na, yeah boy. Na na na, na na na. If I was your girlfriend. If I was your girlfriend, I'd drive you up the wall. Question who you're with, yeah, I'd always call and call. I wouldn't call it jealousy, just looking out for you. Reading all your texts, watching everything you do. Nag, nag, nag. On you, ask all about your past, and Facebook stalk you too. I don't care about them, I just care about us. So say hello to a girlfriend you should trust. Trust, yeah. I'll always be checking up on you. Hey boy, who you talking to? If I was your girlfriend, I'd never let you leave without a small recording device taped under your sleeve. And you'll only look your best.
It's thebarlive.com. PMS The Pugs Moran Show for a Tuesday afternoon. Yeah, we're still listening to the overly attached girlfriend. Turns out she is 21-year-old University of North Texas sophomore. Make sure I get her name right here. Lena Morris.
My future girlfriend.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Your future. So, and boy, you just had some big Reddit party out there at Lake Louisville over the weekend. And it turns out that the person who outed her as being a is a Reddit user named RH something.
Yeah.
Can't really find it here. Confirms that Lena Morris is a student at the University of North Texas. She is a today through various Facebook interactions with mutual friends and a freshman year photo from Morris from Northwest High School yearbook. You know what that is? Ever heard of Northwest High School?
No.
Central Track can indeed confirm overly attached girlfriend's identity as North Texas raised UNT pre-journalism sophomore Lena Morris, and as they say, a star is born.
Very nice.
And Jimmy, so what's your next move? What's the next move here? Do we look her up on Facebook?
Well, I'm a bit worried because she didn't show up to the Reddit meetup, and I'm sure that she knows about it.
How do you know? Maybe she was there. She was just in a tent.
We
Is
took
that
like group
what the
photos.
Reddit party was on the shores of Lake Louisville? Was it just a bunch of people in tents? Like if you showed up, would it just be like 1,000 tents?
Yeah.
Nobody outside the tents?
No, at one point everybody was definitely out and about, and I didn't see anybody that looked like her. So unfortunately, probably seems to. I bet you she knew that if she went there, she would be kind of harassed. So she's probably not into it right now. But
Oh, she's too big a star?
oh, in a Reddit party, she is the star.
She'd be a total rock star?
Oh, she totally would.
Would
Like
she?
everybody would know her. Yeah, like Good Guy Greg. Have you ever seen the Good Guy Greg meme?
No, who's good guy Greg?
He's basically just this guy. It's another one of these just random pictures where this guy just looks like he's being a genuinely good guy while he's smoking a joint. And
That's just this whole bit?
yeah, and so like now he's known as Good Guy Greg. And so like anytime that somebody's being an especially good guy, you'd be like, oh, Good Guy Greg. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
It was just a picture of this. It was just a picture of some dude smoking a joint, and it got passed around online.
Yeah.
And people started putting words above it and all that.
Yeah, like
and
for instance,
he's been dubbed Good Guy Greg.
yeah, so like Good Guy Greg, for instance, realizes that you're watching TV and goes around the backside of the couch.
Oh,
Good Guy Greg.
good guy. He's a good guy. All right. Doesn't take the last piece of pizza.
Yeah, it doesn't take the last pizza. Would you
Waits.
like this pizza?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Good Guy Greg.
You
know?
wait. You gotta wait. You gotta let that pizza sit there
Yeah.
in the atmosphere
Yeah.
before someone finally says, "Hey, do you want that? Because I'll eat it if you don't want it."
Yeah. There's
a
just
good
so
guy.
many great memes, man.
Yeah.
It's just every once in a while, a picture just encompasses what that is. And Good Guy Greg was that guy that time. So
Right. And
Yeah.
now he's internationally famous. Yeah. All right. Also with us here is Ed, our buddy Ed from Chicago. Hi, Ed. How are you?
Good. How are you, buddy?
There's really not much going on today. I'm trying to. The only stories really that are happening are stories that I don't want to talk about on this show. I don't want to get into a conversation about the Egyptian elections. I don't want to get into a conversation about what the Supreme Court did yesterday as far as the immigration goes. I don't want to get into a conversation about what they're going to do in another day or so regarding health care. There's just nothing. This is the dog days of summer where nothing interesting is happening.
we found the overly attached girlfriend.
That's
that was
it.
pretty big.
Yeah, that's a bonus.
I mean,
What do you talk about in Dallas? I mean, what during this time of year? I mean, any new strip clubs opening? What's going on? I mean,
No, really, really, there's nothing going on, except that it's unbearably hot.
There's no humidity. This is fine.
Unbearably hot. And normally, you know, I'm very close with my ex-wife. We're very good friends. And normally I would and we text all day, every day. In fact, I'm surprised that she hasn't blown up my phone yet today because I'm complaining. All right, my ex-girlfriend lives in my ex-girlfriend. Well, she is my ex-girlfriend.
She is your ex-girlfriend.
She's also my ex-wife. She lives in Colorado. Okay, and
Wait, what?
I was Sloan. I'm talking about Sloan.
Oh.
You thought I was talking about the other ex-wife?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No,
Sorry.
the other ex-wife's cool. She's in Plano. But no, we're talking about my first ex-wife is like my best friend in the whole world, and she lives in Colorado now. Yeah, she's awesome. She lives in Colorado now, and I'm like, she's like, what's going on there? I'm like, oh, it's 105 degrees. It's gonna be 110 tomorrow. Probably be 115 on Wednesday. She's like, oh yeah, that's great. My entire state is on fire.
Yes,
Apparently,
it is.
She is completely... I'm complaining about weather. She's got everything that she owns in bags and in a box and ready to go as soon as the National Guard comes down her street and says, get the hell out of here. The mountain's on fire. Are you watching what's happening in Colorado? And specifically, she lives in Monument, Colorado, which is exactly where this is happening. All of the neighborhoods in her little town that she lives in, like 3 of the 5 neighborhoods have been evacuated. And she's still sitting there like, yeah, they're probably going to evacuate us at some point. Could you imagine that? And I'm like, yeah, we live in Texas. Texas catches on fire once a year too. And it does. You know, we have a stretch of days coming up here in the next couple of weeks where we'll see it'll all be smoky and the air will be thick and sooty. And that's because West Texas will be on fire, for about a month. And it'll come closer and closer to Fort Worth, and, you know, everybody will freak out and all that. But then it'll go away and it'll do nothing. These are mountains that are on fire. So the fire is above you, and it's falling down on you. The wind takes the flames off the mountains and throws fireballs through the air. And they travel through the air for like a mile and then land on your roof, and your house catches on fire. It is insane. I mean, I couldn't imagine living like that.
Yeah, I feel bad because you called and you were just trying to get some sympathy about it being hot around here.
Yeah, I was looking for a little something on my end, and then suddenly, you know, she's got Armageddon going on in her
you
house.
should have said both. I guess we could both use some water.
We could both
And
use
tell
a trip
Sloan
to
I said
Greenland. Yeah, sure.
Or maybe just like hang up and call somebody from Chicago and tell them about how damn hot it is.
No sympathy there. It's going to be over 100 in Chicago the rest of the week.
It?
Yeah.
Oh.
And a lot worse because there's humidity up there.
No, it's not worse.
It's worse.
No, it's not worse at all. Because in Chicago, if it goes over to 100, it's going to be over 100 for a day or two.
Right.
Here,
Well,
it
here
goes
it's
over 100
ongoing.
for 90 days.
I remember when I was in New York, it was the funniest thing.
And you don't get used to it, by the way.
No.
You don't get used to 110-degree temperatures.
It was 104 one day, and people were running. It almost looked like people were looting the electronics store to get like built-in window air conditioners because nobody was ready for it. And it was 104 degrees. That's what they said anyway. But me, as being somebody from Dallas, I'm walking around. I'm like, what are these people freaking out about?
It's not that bad.
No, it's like it's a different kind of 104 too. You know, like here, it's like a crazy dry 104. Like the cement is going to burn you.
Anything anything under 100 degrees is nothing. It's not worth my time. When it's 99, I'm not worried about. It's just 100. Okay, so it's getting there. Yesterday, I'm coming down the tollway. My car is overheating, and I look at my dashboard, and it says it's 111 degrees. Last night at 5:30 in the afternoon on the tollway, 111 degrees.
It's insane. It's insane. What were we thinking? Like when people first came to settle in this area.
Thank you.
Why?
This is what I always say. What the hell made people stay here?
Yeah.
What made people come to this particular, let's say right where the center of town is in Dallas? Yeah. What made people come here and go, this will be good? It must have been like October, right? It must have been October when they got here.
Yeah, and they built way too quick. They were way overly ambitious.
This is great.
Yeah.
Winters are mild. So, we've been here 9 months. Summer's coming. This is going to be great.
Look at this mud hut you built. I mean, like, I don't know if we're going to be able to recreate that anywhere else.
Please. Good Lord. Yeah, no, I don't understand. I mean, because there's no natural body of water.
Right.
There was no body of water. This wasn't a natural seaport that would, lend itself to industry and an economy and all that.
You aren't vacationing on Joe Pool Lake.
What was it? You know, there is actually a place in Dallas. If you go, it's called can't think of what it's called. You know where City Tavern is?
No.
On Main Street. You know where
Oh wait, yeah, so yeah, I
City
do.
Tavern. It's right next to that douchebag club. That's right there. I don't know what the club is called.
Yeah.
Lush, Gish,
One of those.
Push.
Yeah. It's one of those one word, one syllable.
One of those douchebag where there's a line out front, but right next to the OE Penguin. If you know where the OE Penguin is, that's a great bar that's right down there. Well, right across Main Street, there's a CVS. Okay, we're on Main Street there in downtown Dallas. If you go in the alley, right between the CVS and I believe maybe that's like the Davis building or something, whatever apartment building that is, there is an alley there. And I used to cut through that alley all the time when I lived down there. When I lived over at Ackerton Pacific, I would come down and cut right across that alley, and boom, I'm right there on Main Street, right? And it's not an alley like, oh, you're going to get into a knife fight. It's a Dallas alley. You know? It's fine. It's like a quarter of a block, you know.
It's not one of those alleys where it's a whole different world for a little while before you
no, they got advertisements in this alley. You know, they got like, you know, things that they do because people they know that people use it as a cut through.
Yeah.
So I walked through this thing a million times, and I look, and I noticed that on both sides of the buildings, the CVS and on the other building, there are plaques on the wall, and I'm reading the plaque. And it turns out that is the place. That is the reason that the city of Dallas exists. That very place. The plaque says that on this spot, two of the largest, earliest banks in North Texas set up to basically hold all of the money for all the ranchers. So I mean, Dallas was set up as a banking city. It was all of the ranchers needed someplace to go, and they built the bank here. They built the bank here, and then everybody started coming into town to do their deposits and all that stuff.
Where'd Fort Worth come from?
Fort Worth was it was a military base, first of all, and it was all ranching and all that stuff. So
this too we can blame on the banks.
Yes,
right.
You can blame settling in Dallas and putting up with 115. But I don't understand why the banks moved here. No. Why here? Why not why not on the Red River? You would think it would make more sense. Right. Why not on a body of water?
Yeah, I mean, like early on, it's literally as if the person did like a few turns around and just like pointed at a random place. And then like, he was like, all right, we'll set up there. Why? I don't know.
Well, have you ever been to a couple blocks further towards Dealey Plaza? You will see one of the few pieces of history that actually still stands. I mean, real history that still stands. And it's that log cabin. Right. Have you seen that? The home of Dallas's first resident, who also was Dallas's first mayor, which you would think that would be a no-brainer. If you're the first resident, just vote for yourself as mayor, you know? But think of that cabin. That cabin, eliminate all of the other buildings, eliminate the courthouse, eliminate everything that's around there that makes that a hustling, bustling, downtown urban environment right now. And remember that dude just built his cabin there. There was nothing else there. There was no water. There was nothing.
I'd love the idea of like the original guy being like some bipolar guy. One guy's the mayor, the other guy's like the police deputy. He's constantly pissed off about one of them.
Yeah. Did the guy who was the first mayor also vote to limit how much power he had?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was one of his first moves.
One of my pet peeves about Dallas is the fact you guys really don't have a mayor.
I hate that. Yeah, no, I hate it. I hate it. And a number of years ago, Dallas had an initiative on the ballot, and they framed it the wrong way.
They spent so much time scaring people.
Right.
They voted incorrectly. Yeah.
Well, the people who were opposed to the initiative that would have made Dallas a great city instead of what it is, which is just this collection of suburbs and some dilapidated urban center in the middle of it, which is all Dallas is, with potholes and horrible police and horrible schools and everything. All of these problems could have been fixed 5 years ago when Laura Miller proposed the Strong Mayor Initiative, and the city council people, who control their own little patches of land like a bunch of burgermeisters, I mean, they refuse to give up any power, so they frame the argument to the voting public as a strong mayor, as in a strong man, as in a dictator. That's not at all what it is. It's what they have in New York. It's what they have in Chicago. It's what they have in San Francisco. It's where one person is actually where the buck stops. One person can be blamed for anything that's wrong. And when that city goes into the toilet, you have another election and you get rid of that guy. All a strong mayor really would do for the voting people is give them someone to blame. As it is right now, everybody passes the buck to the councilman. Oh, no, well, it's because of this guy in this neighborhood. Well, no, it's because of that guy in that neighborhood. No, these people should not have as much power as they do. And unfortunately, the city of Chicago, or city of Dallas, I should say, really sucks as far as major American cities go because of this kind of setup. And the people, I don't want no strong mayor. Really? You don't want a clean city? Because you go to cities that have strong mayors, and guess what they got in the middle of their roads? They got flowers. They got flower beds all up and down the boulevards. You go to a big city, guess what they have in the neighborhoods? They don't have potholes on every corner. Because when the people's potholes don't get filled, they claim they're not going to vote for the damn mayor again, and the mayor makes the council people fix it. But we don't have that here.
You know where?
Because the mayor is nothing more than a shift manager. That's all the mayor of Dallas is.
You know where I live in the city, in Chicago. And, so I'm in an area where I tend to run into a lot of out-of-towners. And the number one thing I hear when people from out of Chicago is it's so clean here.
It's
people
amazingly
are so friendly
clean.
here. It's so nice.
Dallas is about a quarter the size of Chicago. And if you want to talk about downtown areas, Dallas's downtown area is probably about an eighth of the size of Chicago's downtown area. And Dallas is filthy. Dallas is filthy. There are potholes. You know they fix potholes in downtown Dallas? They put up one of those wooden horses in the middle of the road.
That's how
That's how they fix a pothole. In cities like Chicago, San Francisco, especially New York, especially in the main, could you imagine on Broadway there being a massive pothole in the middle of the road and nobody doing anything about it?
No, it would just never happen.
However, there has been a massive pothole in the middle of Main Street and like Pacific for, I don't know, 4 years, and no one has done anything about it. Cabs and buses just go around it. Wow. People who are unfamiliar with the area, they bottom out their car in it. But Dallas does nothing about it because they have no power. The mayor has no power. Streets and Sanitation has no power. You know who's got power? A bunch of crazy councilmen who have been in power for 20 years. They've got power, and they do nothing except throw a couple potluck dinners in their community every couple of years so that they get reelected. Nothing is being done because the people in Dallas were afraid of the word strong mayor. Oh, it killed me, Ed. It killed me. I was the only person saying, no, you got to go live somewhere where they actually have a mayor who's responsible for the city. Things get done, as opposed to here in Dallas, where the only thing I remember a mayor ever trying to do is make sure that strippers can't sit on your lap. That's the only thing I remember a Dallas mayor doing in the 10 plus years I've been here.
Well, that must have failed.
I don't know, Laura Miller. She didn't. She was the same girl who wanted strong mayor. So it was like, all right, I want her to be a strong mayor, but then again, she sort of got a bone against the strip clubs.
Yeah, I don't want you to be a strong mayor. I just want someone to be.
Someone else.
Yeah. Matter of fact,
if she would have been the strong mayor, she would have got, tossed out the first election. So.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, look, and everything's not great about Chicago. I mean, there are problems there as well. Like
there are problems everywhere.
You go in the wrong neighborhood, and 7 more shootings, 7 more shooting deaths this weekend in Chicago.
I believe that.
That's to go with the 11 the week before,
far south side,
when Obama was in town. Yes, but it's only in these. And this sounds horrible.
Strong mayor, unless it's certain pockets.
But you really shouldn't be going to these areas. I mean, these are areas that tourists don't go to. No. These are areas that, they got their own problems. The areas that tourists do go to, the areas where people actually live and pay taxes and, have jobs and all that stuff, those areas are perfectly fine. But the ghettos are really bad.
So it's definitely going to be an inconvenience if you need crack, and then also
are
part of productive every day.
Chicago's only dangerous for a tourist if while you're in town you're going to pick up some crack.
Yeah.
that's
then you might see a pothole
dangerous.
Or two.
Yeah.
Then it's going to get real crazy.
Yeah. All right. Well, at any rate, that's I guess what we're going to do. That's the douche of the day. All right. We're going to give it to the people of Dallas who refuse to even learn what a strong mayor is and just simply voted against, yet again, their best interests because they don't like the idea of giving anyone power. All right, so you give no one power, and guess what we have? We've got a gigantic pothole right in the middle of our downtown city center that hasn't been fixed in years. years. We'll take a break. We'll come back. It is PMS, the Pugs Moran Show on The Bar Live, thebarlive.com. All right, we're back. It is thebarlive.com, PMS, the Pugs Moran Show, for a Tuesday afternoon, noon to 2. You can hear the PMS show right at thebarlive.com. Check out the podcast at thebarlive.com. Also, YouTube videos and all that stuff.
Oh, also, iTunes. Just look for the Pugs Moran Show.
Are we back on iTunes?
Yep.
All right, so it's official?
Everybody individually now, yeah. So it's not just the Bar Live one. Just go look for the Pugs Moran Show.
Is it? It's listed
right
as
there.
Pugs Moran?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. I was thinking PMS might be easier.
I can do that too, to where it'll search for that.
PMS, yeah, make it search for PMS or Pugs Moran Show.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Let's see here as we wind up today's Tuesday edition of the show. Ed, let me ask you this. My buddy Ed is in town, hanging out with us.
Yes, sir.
Did you see Avatar?
No.
Jimmy, did you see Avatar?
I did. I actually that sparked one of the longest debates ever, like on the old show that I was on.
Okay, all right. I'm unfamiliar. What is the what's the debate?
Well, I ended up watching it because the two guys that were on the show both were giving me crap because I hadn't seen it yet, and
Okay.
so I ended up watching it completely, not knowing anything that was going into it. But then there was one scene where it's the morning, and you see this massive planet coming up over the side of it. And I'm like, wow, that's badass. This is a moon. Like this, what was the name of the place that they were on?
Whatever, where the blue
Yeah,
people live.
They're on a moon.
Wow.
And so I was so excited about that. I bring it back to the show, and we ended up getting into a fight over whether or not it was a moon. But we ended up finding out it is.
It is a moon.
Yeah, it was a moon.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so.
Did you like it?
I thought it was great, yeah.
I hated it.
Really?
I hated Avatar. I couldn't get more than 20 minutes into it.
Yeah?
It was just too...
Right there with you.
Yeah, it was too fairy tale.
And the thing that really annoyed me,
it may as well have been an animated film.
the ore that they were mining, unobtainium, they stole that
Unobtainium?
from a 2003 movie called The Core, which
Really?
really annoyed me.
Really?
Yeah.
The phrase unobtainium?
Yeah.
Was
Because the special ship they built was out of unobtainium. And I'm like, come on, really, James Cameron? You couldn't come up with something else?
it had a very Star Wars Episode 1 feel.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
Very, we talk a lot
Well, you're
about...
not a CGI guy like that. Neither am I.
No, I don't. But you know what I am? I'm a CGI animation guy. I
Yeah.
mean, now that I watch nothing but animated movies with my kid, I see. Here's the difference. Here's the difference between Avatar and, let's say, all right, one that we really like around my house, Romeo and Juliet. Okay, you ever heard of this? Totally CGI'd kids movie about Romeo and Juliet. It's basically a Shakespeare play for kids, but it's done as garden gnomes. The Montagues and the Capulets.
Oh, right. I remember seeing previews for that.
It's brilliant. It is brilliantly done. I mean, I love Shakespeare. I took a lot of Shakespeare in school, and I every story that is made today has some origin in a Shakespeare. Either everything dates back to Shakespeare or some form of Greek tragedy.
Greek mythology, right?
Yes, everything. Well, even Star Wars.
Oh, absolutely.
Every Avatar, I didn't see enough of it, but you could probably go back to, I see what he's doing. He's doing the Shakespeare story of, that whole thing. There are no original stories. They all originate from this stuff. So I thought it was really cool that there was something for kids that sort of did the basic stories of Shakespeare. For instance, Romeo and Juliet. Every movie you have ever seen, every story you have ever heard, where the premise was unrequited love, or not even unrequited, but some forbidden love.
Right.
That's Shakespeare. It all goes back to Romeo and Juliet. So Romeo and Juliet was about two people who lived next door to each other, the Montagues and the Capulets, just like in Romeo and Juliet. And the Montagues have a bunch of garden gnomes, and the Capulets have a bunch of garden gnomes. And when no one's looking, all of the garden gnomes and all of the landscaping creatures, they all come alive, and they have this little world. And it's basically the story of Romeo and Juliet. The girl from the one side of the fence falls in love with a gnome from the other side of the fence. It's fantastic, and it's funny, I mean, they make an effort in these movies to understand that the parents are going to be watching it.
What happens at the end? Do they throw themselves off a balcony and break themselves? Okay. Really? Are you kidding me with that?
No.
Wow.
No, you would be, no. Yeah, there are broken gnomes. Yes, there are shattered gnomes on the curb at some point of Romeo and Juliet. So I like that. So I can get behind the cool CGI stuff. But when you do a movie like Avatar, there was no humor in it.
Yeah.
I mean, was there humor in it? I mean, I don't know. I was just it was all so serious. And it's like I'm watching a bunch of cartoon characters be serious. And I don't want cartoon characters being serious.
Well, I don't watch any dramas or, too many things, anything like that. So I wasn't really paying attention to that. So, yeah, I don't even know what the story was anymore. I just know that the physics in it were awesome.
You were stoned when you watched it, weren't you?
I may have been, but like the thing that was,
because I never remember what the movie was about when I'm stoned watching it.
Yeah, but I wasn't watching it for that. It's a lot like why I'm not going back, and I don't think that I am going back into whatever it was, the show. The show that you
Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah, It's just nothing. I mean, like, there's just nothing. Every single thing that has to do with physics, they didn't give a crap about it. And like, at least James Cameron really took time out to like show you things that were like part of this world.
Yeah, but Battlestar's more about politics, just set in this.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I don't watch any dramas. I don't watch any of that stuff. I want to watch things that are gonna like be kind of exciting on those levels. Like, for instance, when you do see like a planet rise take place and you're like, wow, I didn't realize we're on a moon right now. And then you're able to go verify that because, of course, James Cameron wanted to make sure that everything was something that you could go back to and test. And
all right.
So it was really cool in that way. Now, the story, I don't know.
That's why
maybe
it took
was
like
crap.
6 years to make.
Yeah.
Well, Sigourney Weaver confirmed tonight that James Cameron is shooting Avatar 2, 3, and 4 all at the same time.
Well, yeah, because they take so long to make.
Do they? Yeah. I don't know.
Still, highest grossing movie in the history of film. So
Sigourney Weaver
more power to him.
Is it the highest grossing film?
Worldwide, absolutely, yeah.
Boy, you know what else I didn't get? I also didn't get Inception.
I love that movie. I will watch that movie no matter if I'm flipping channels and I stumble. I don't care what part of it I can stop and be. It's just Inception is brilliant. That is the most original concept I have seen come out of Hollywood in forever.
I didn't know what I was watching. I was trying to pay attention to it. Did you see Inception?
Yeah, I thought it was great.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Maybe
with all these reboots and 21 Jump Street. I mean, come on. But finally, something original out of Hollywood in the last 10 years, and Inception was it. It was fantastic.
All right, I'll give points for that because I like that. But I just, I didn't get it. I think I watched the whole thing. It was visually stunning.
Watch it a couple of times, you'll get it.
Yeah,
that is
watch
one
it
of
a
them.
couple of
I mean,
times.
remember you like The Usual Suspects?
Love The Usual.
How many times did you have to watch that before you caught everything?
Once. But
Really?
but I do understand that that's a complicated watch.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, but no, I watched Usual Suspects. I love that from the get-go. Contact, another one of my favorite movies.
Carl Sagan's movie.
One of my favorite movies of all time. Nobody liked that.
I liked it. The book was a little better, but Jodie Foster did the best she could.
I thought the movie was fantastic.
The movie was good. The book was better.
Yeah. All right, so there you have it. If you're a fan of the Avatar film series, you're going to get episode 2, 3, and 4 all being shot at the same time. Don't know.
Released by 2050.
I have no idea when that's coming out.
The real news there would have been the #1 grossing movie of all time is not going to have a part 2. That would have been a real news story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would almost have to be.
Yeah.
All right, we got another zombie attack, Jimmy Ryan. We've been keeping
Thankfully.
track of all these zombie attacks. This one a little closer to home. Waco, Texas.
Whoa.
Oh, that is closer.
They're making their way up. They're making their way up here. Waco, Texas. Police in Waco arrested a 22-year-old named Michael Danley Monday after they say he ate a dog. He ate a dog. Wow. Now, I watch True Blood.
Uh-huh.
Do you watch True Blood?
Oh, yeah.
Now, I am all for the mainstreaming of paranormal individuals, whether they are vampires or zombies. I think this is a nice step in the zombie community to at least make an effort to eat dogs and not people. I think that's I still think that they're going to run into some problems with the ASPCA and other animal and love organizations, but at least this guy here, Michael Daniel, he's making it. He didn't eat his grandma.
Right.
He ate the dog.
And he can at least say that, as the police are handcuffing him. Guys,
Sure.
you don't understand. I had a real taste for my grandma's face. Went for the dog instead.
Although, they probably would have preferred that he would have eaten a homeless person because people like dogs more than homeless people.
That is true.
You ever notice that? You pull next to a homeless dude on the corner and he's got his dog there, people will react to the dog.
Oh, yeah.
Pup.
Oh, that poor dog. The poor dog? What do you mean the poor dog? That's a human being.
Yeah.
What, the poor dog?
Meanwhile, the guy's not even homeless. He's just blind and doesn't know that his
Right,
clothes look like crap.
It says here, family members called police on June 14th saying Daniel assaulted people at the home, chased a neighbor, and then started barking and growling. What happened next is horrific. Witnesses say Daniel grabbed the family dog, beat it, and strangled it, then started to eat it. The dog died at home. Daniel is believed to have been on a bad trip from ingesting, Jimmy, K2.
K2.
What is K2?
I think that's just like one of those things that's supposed to be like a synthetic marijuana.
I know.
Yeah.
He's on something more than that.
Yeah, he has to be on something more than that.
Marijuana gives you the munchies, but it doesn't make you want to eat a dog. No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, and K2, I mean, like, yeah, I mean, it gets you really stoned, but it's not that.
He was taken to the hospital and now faces a felony charge of animal cruelty.
Wow.
Yeah. Any zombie issues going on up there in Chicago?
No.
No, nothing. All right, we got this one. This one's close. It seemed to all be relegated though to the South.
Right.
Florida, Texas. There was one in Alabama. Oh no, there's one in Baltimore. So that's like the mid section of the country.
I think the real story is that we got some bad synthetic drugs going on around here.
Yeah.
I mean, what? I mean, bath salts have been around. No joke, for at least 4 years that I've been hearing about people talking about bath salts. Not that everybody's using them, but just that they were, around. If you went to a certain head shop, you could probably pick up some bath salts.
Sure.
Suddenly, the last 3 months, something's changed in the formula. Like, there's people eating all different types of things. Which really, if you're on bath salts, you're not supposed to be hungry at all.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be all sped up and whacked out of your mind. But I can't imagine somebody hitting a McDonald's on bath salts.
Can you still walk into, like, say, the Glass Pipe or something like that, and can you buy some sort of synthetic? Mm-hmm. So it's not illegal. They haven't voluntarily taken it off the shelves.
No. I mean, at least not the ones that I've seen.
But why should they? Why should they voluntarily take it off the shelves? This guy, K2, I asked you. I said, what's K2? I know what K2 is.
Yeah.
Just as I know what a lot of these incense and over-the-counter weed brands are. Nobody smoked K2 and then ate a dog. The guy was on something else.
Yeah.
So why should the whole synthetic marijuana industry have to be pulled off the shelves because the newspapers reported something that wasn't entirely factual?
Right. And I guess if we go down this road, but you could say the same thing for every once in a while, a person on alcohol doing something really ridiculous, but they don't put that on the news the next day and say, here's why you can't do it. That person's obviously out of their mind when they went into this.
Right, yeah. Miller Lite is never blamed,
right.
in the news for somebody who's drunk and doing something ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Also, I guess Michael Phelps, are we paying attention to the Olympic pre-trials and all that?
Put his bong down long enough to swim a little?
I'm not. Apparently, Michael Phelps lost. Ryan Loke is the guy's name. Downed Michael Phelps in the men's 400-meter medley at the U.S. Olympic swimming trials in a race that gave a glimpse of the fireworks that could be produced at the London Games. Loke seizes control of the breaststroke leg and held on to beat Phelps for the first time in the punishing 4-stroke event. All right, so
nice.
I guess we can all be pleased because someone is a better swimmer than Michael Phelps, but he's also an American. Because, again, that's all we care about in the Olympics.
Right. As long as we got someone else in there to replace the American that was already doing it, then we're in good shape.
Boy, I watched something funny recently. I don't know if it was a new movie. I don't even know what it was. I was just flipping around, but there was some premise that the Olympics were coming. Oh, it was 30 Rock. That's what it was. It was on 30 Rock. Did you see on 30 Rock, and it was this season. It was an episode this season because they were talking about the London Games, where Jack Donaghy admitted in his office to Liz Lemon that NBC has been faking the Olympic results for years and years.
That's great.
Because the rest of the world got better than us at certain things. So all of these new Olympic sports that we dominate in, America dominates in, aren't actually Olympic sports. It's like a moon landing fake.
Right.
They film it all in a sound studio somewhere, and people think that Americans are like gold medalists in tetherball, even though tetherball isn't an Olympic event. That's kind of how I'm starting to feel about the Olympics.
Right.
I got really. We're supposed to be getting Olympic fever now. I mean, it's right around the corner here.
Couldn't care less.
I could not care less.
When is it supposed to start?
End of July, yeah.
Yeah, a couple weeks here. Yeah.
Wow.
towards the end of the month.
Because it does. I mean, like, because I never pay attention to it. I think that most people don't. But, like, for some reason, it never fails. They ramp up perfectly to where, like, right when it starts, you start hearing about everybody talking about watching the Olympics. So, I mean, this will be a nice little thing to see how it works. Because, like, all of a sudden, it might ramp up mid-time next week, and then everyone's talking about it.
I don't care about anything.
Yeah.
I don't care. I mean, the only thing that I was interested in, I guess this is good that Michael Phelps lost. Although the conspiracy theorist in me thinks that maybe he held back in order to make it, in order to make it more of a contest when he goes over there. And if he's going to hold back to an American, right? Let an American win. I don't know. I guess I'll watch the opening ceremonies. It's London. So there's, I've been to London. I like London. So it'll be fun to watch that.
Yeah.
But other than that, man, what do we got? Gymnastics? What do we have? What do we do in the Summer Olympics?
No, and you look like a creep no matter what you do if you're sitting around your house by yourself watching the gymnastics.
We talked about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they ain't good.
No. Just find out how the results worked out at the end of it. You're not missing much.
And I don't really. I think there was one gymnastic event that I can remember watching, and that was the Carrie Strug thing from like 20 years ago. Remember
Was
when
that the same year?
Atlanta '96.
she broke her ankle?
Yeah.
And she had one vault on the what is that? Vaulting horse? I guess?
Pommel horse. No, not the pommel. Yeah, pommel horse.
That's what we called it in gym class. Was that what they call it? Is it the pommel horse? She had one vault.
Pommel horse has the handles on it, but yeah, it's that same thing without the handles. It's a
She had broken her ankle on a jump, and then like 10 minutes later, she had to make her final vault, if you will. And she was just, I mean, it was compelling television. It was amazing. This poor little girl, she was obviously in pain. She had worked her entire life to get to this moment. She was on the verge of a gold medal, and she broke her ankle. She is standing there on a broken ankle getting ready to make her last vault, and she nailed it. I mean,
and stuck the landing. That was the thing.
Yes. Yeah, you can on a broken ankle, and like just the pain, and she has talked about that since. She blocked the pain out completely because she knew that she had won the gold medal, and that was in the moment. It was fine. And Bella Caroli, who was her coach at the time, if you remember, he immediately ran up to her and scooped her up and carried her because she couldn't walk. Oh, now that was an Olympic moment.
Right.
It was like 25 years ago. I can't think of one Olympic moment since.
Yeah.
But occasionally those things happen.
That was the same year that Oksana Bayul was in it, right? Do you remember her? I had this huge crush on her, and I ended up actually getting to meet up with her.
I only remember her because of her post-Olympic shenanigans.
Right.
That's the only.
Really?
Oh yeah, and she's like an alkie. She's like a
DUI and
crazy.
whatnot. Yeah.
Is she really?
multiple DUIs.
Multiple DUIs.
Car accidents. She's rolled the car. Yeah, she
Wow.
has not been handling,
No
life as a
wonder I had a
post-Olympian.
thing for her. I mean, like, no,
She's a mess. Or at least she
Yeah.
was.
Because it was really funny. When I was growing up, I was watching those Olympics, and I got this huge crush on her. And much like we found out about the girl on the internet meme, found out that she was practicing less than a mile from the house I was watching it at.
Okay.
So, like, that very same summer, I ended up running into her, like, when I was going over to my friend Donald's place. And she seemed, like, totally normal. I mean, I guess you do when you're young and everything. But, yeah. Damn, now I got two people that I got to check up on. Start doing my internet stalking.
Well, let's get into a little bit of watch list here as we wrap the show up. Tonight, TV, not a whole lot of great stuff on TV, although we are talking about the Olympics tonight at 7 o'clock on NBC. U.S. Olympic Trials. You can watch that for an hour.
Trials of what?
Let's find out exactly what we're going to be watching today. Tonight, NBC. NBC is going to, right now, we're going to start to get into that real full court press.
Right.
NBC really hyping everything that they got going on. Let's see here. Oh, man. Finals from Omaha, Nebraska. Swimming tonight.
Sounds like a must miss.
So maybe more Michael Phelps. I don't know. It doesn't really have any description on who's going to be participating today in the swimming trials from Omaha, Nebraska, but it's on tonight on NBC.
What else you got?
The problem that I have with this is that, back in, like, 300 BC, these were really cool events. You know what I mean? Like, these were people that were swimming.
Right.
Like, that's pretty cool.
Well, usually get away from something chasing them. But
Yeah. I mean, like, but now we got football. You know, now we got like things that have kind of anteed up a bit.
Yeah.
And the Olympics are still doing this. We're throwing poles out
Dude,
here.
javelins.
Yeah.
They're throwing javelins
Yeah.
in the Olympics.
Yeah.
You can throw a stick farther?
Yeah.
Really?
What's this about?
That we're gonna watch this on a Sunday afternoon in the summer? Dudes throw. So you've got a shot put? You're just gonna throw a brick? You're basically just gonna throw a heavy rock so you can throw it the farthest? This is stupid.
Yeah. Hey, NBC, you paid exclusive rights for this?
And yet you don't have MMA yet?
Right.
I don't get it. You're throwing javelins and you've got synchronized. I mean, it's ridiculous. Yeah. They need to put some sports that people will watch.
They really do, desperately. Because I would rather watch people tiptoe around a room all day. I mean, like, that's pretty cool. Look at that.
Horse riding.
Yeah.
They have a thing called dressage in the Olympics. You know what that is? That's fancy horse riding. That's the horse that prances,
Like
and
Lippenzotters?
Yeah, well, yeah, sort of like that. And the people on it are wearing like tuxedos with like a big felt hat on. That's an Olympic sport.
Sounds great.
Have you ever met?
Doesn't get any TV time, thankfully, because nobody gives a rat's ass about that.
I mean, like, it's one of these things where we have a lot of things to do that don't include those things. I mean, like, if you meet somebody from like the middle of nowhere and then they come into the big city, they're like, oh man, very easily like amused. You can show them things that like you see every single day, and they're like, wow, I never seen anything like that. It's not the same thing nowadays. I mean, it's 2012. You aren't gonna find somebody from ancient Rome who's really gonna appreciate your backstroke.
But you know what would be badass? Chariot racing. Well, why not bring back chariot racing? That is something people would watch, right?
I agree.
I mean, it's just as relevant as throwing a stick.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same thing.
I think PETA would be all over it, but
Chariot racing?
Sure.
Why?
Get pulled by horses.
Well, wouldn't it be more like
You're gonna do it right. Let's get the horses out there. I mean,
we still have horse racing in this country, though, where horses pull people on buggies. I mean, why would that be any different? I mean, it wouldn't look like, the animals would all be taken care of.
Okay.
You could safely do chariot racing.
sure.
Yeah.
All right, what else is on? When does that Charlie Sheen show start?
Yeah. You're talking about anger management.
Anger management.
Yeah, I don't know what anger management is. I don't care. Charlie Sheen's going to be on the Wendy Williams show. If any of you like Wendy Williams.
Is that girl that you showed me that was?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
I hate her.
And he's going on there?
Yeah, that's another weird booking, right? Outside her demo. She gets very upset. Wendy Williams got very upset at Adam Carolla last week when Adam Carolla went on her BET nighttime talk show and pointed out that he's not necessarily in her demo.
No.
She got very upset. I don't have a demo. Everybody, no.
No, honey, you have a demo.
Let's get your executive
And I'm
producer
not
out
in it.
here and let's talk about your demo because you refuse to admit it, but you have a demo.
Also, last week, Adam Carolla said women aren't funny.
Oh, he was like one of the number one trends for almost 2 days because of that.
Yeah. You know what? That upsets me about Adam Carolla because that's a hack line. That's something that old, out of touch.
I don't find Adam Carolla funny. Never have.
Oh, you know?
Never.
I think he's incredibly witty.
I think Jimmy Kimmel was always the brains of that outfit.
I think Jimmy's got way more talent than
yeah.
Adam. But Adam's talent is being quick with a line when you need it. And there are few better that I've ever seen at being quick with a line like that.
So he's a good second banana. Is what you're saying.
Yes. Yeah. Jimmy Kimmel and Adam Carolla would make an awesome radio show.
Yeah.
Well, Adam Carolla made Dr. Drew interesting.
Right.
And Dr. Drew is not interesting.
No.
He's very dry.
Second banana.
And I don't mean that as a knock on Dr. Drew. I love Dr. Drew, but he's very dry, and he needed for Loveline for that show to take off. They needed somebody like Adam Carolla. All right, Seth MacFarlane. If you like Seth MacFarlane, he's on with Jon Stewart on the Daily Show today. I'm sure that he's promoting that new movie Ted with Mark Wahlberg.
I'm actually looking forward to that.
Couldn't care less.
I don't know. That could be one of those sleepers that could really be good or it could completely suck.
Here's why I got to stay away from that movie. Every time that commercial comes on TV, my kid wants to see it. And I know that is not a movie.
Not a movie you can take your
not
kid
a
to
movie
see.
for a
No,
kid.
no.
He sees, you know what he sees? Here's what my kid sees. My kid loves Family Guy. Loves it. Well, he calls it the Stewie and Brian Show. Loves the Stewie and Brian Show. So he sees the commercial for Ted, and he hears Brian, the dog, coming out of this little teddy bear, and he thinks it's just like, we're going to be in line for tickets when it comes out. I got to see that, Dad. I got to see that. I'm like, yeah, no, no, we won't be seeing that.
Yeah.
I'm already uncomfortable letting you watch Family Guy, but I know you don't understand a damn thing everything's going over your
how
head.
are you going to wheel that back in a couple of years when he does start to question things?
Well, the hardest thing for a parent to say is no, Ed, and I'm damn good at it. I'm damn good at it. Boy, we got into a big no fight at the store the other day. He wanted candy. And I'd have gotten him candy, but I didn't have any money. I didn't have any money. I go to the store with him for exactly what we need. Milk, maybe some meat.
Right.
Maybe some meat.
Maybe a watermelon. Watermelons are good because he loves watermelon. And, you just get a whole watermelon, you fill up on. He'll snack on watermelon all day, which is good. But yeah, no, it's no. He's starting to get it. All right, let's see. What else do we have? Tonight on TV, Emma Stone is on with Jimmy Fallon. These are all just... See, folks, there's nothing really new on TV because we're in the middle of the summer months and there's nothing good. So let me just... Emma Stone. Anybody like Emma Stone?
I'm trying to think.
Other than Jim Carrey, you mean?
What do you mean?
Wasn't he stalking her?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I do think... Yeah. I do remember something about Jim Carrey being all smitten with Emma Stone.
If she wasn't the age she was, I'd want to do her.
How old is she?
Oh, like 22.
Man, that's unfortunate because she carries herself like someone much older.
Oh, absolutely she does.
She's very, very mature. She's gonna be on with Jimmy Fallon tonight. I love her. First of all, not physically. I mean, she is
I
pretty.
think she's cute as hell.
Yeah, she's cute, but she's not Megan Fox. She's not, knocked down, drag out, smoking hot. She's
I don't
really...
think Megan Fox is drag out. See, that's why you and I have been friends for so long. We'd never fight over a girl in a bar.
Boy, no wonder you guys didn't understand why I found the other girl attractive. You guys don't find this girl to be attractive?
No.
This girl's a 9.
Emma Stone's attractive. I'm saying she's
Okay.
attractive. But
I think Emma Stone's adorable.
No, I'm not saying she's unattractive. What I'm saying is I'm attracted to her for reasons other than her physical appearance. I love her personality. Her personality is just awesome. She seems like a super cool, funny, smart chick.
Yeah.
Who also happens to be very attractive. But she's not... She's girl next door attractive. She's prettiest girl in your high school attractive. She's the girl that works at the Gap attractive. She's not cover of Maxim attractive. There's a difference. Do you see that at all?
I don't know.
No?
I'm not really into that look, though. I don't think so. Maybe.
Who, the Emma Stone look or the other people that I mentioned?
No, just like the really over-the-top, like, I don't know, stereotypical cover girl type look. But I think the Emma Stone would be on a cover fine.
Yeah,
but I'm sure she would.
Probably has been.
Yeah.
Maybe I downgrade her looks because she does have so much going on in other categories.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's it.
I could see that, yeah.
She is attractive, though. All right.
You downgrade, I think you just discount. You look past these because
Yeah.
you don't need to focus on those
Yeah, maybe that's the
because
case.
she's so well put together.
All right, as we run out of time here for today's show. Oh, now, first of all, here's beauty. I'm staring right here at Minka Kelly. You guys know who Minka Kelly is?
Yes, Friday Night Lights. I loved Friday Night Lights.
Dude, Minka Kelly and Adrienne Palicki are like the two most beautiful women that I've ever seen on a television show.
Yeah.
Now, that it was
Is that the blonde?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The blonde who's supposed to be Wonder Woman. And I'm waiting for this damn movie. Do you know who Adrienne Palicki is?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Wait a second. Are we talking about the daughter of the dad who is the coach? Or the other blonde?
No.
The other
The
blonde.
daughter of the dad.
Right.
That's Amy Teagarden.
Oh,
That's
yes.
her name.
And she lives in Austin.
Does she?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not that I've been stalking her.
She's cute, but she's too young. She's way too young. I remember the first time I saw her on Friday Night Lights, she was like a freshman in high school. I can't. I can't. She's a little, in my mind, she's a little girl. Although I will grant you that she's very pretty. She's grown into a very pretty young woman. Tyra? Her name was Tyra. She was like the white trash girl.
No, she's hot too.
She was white trash, but she was trying to not be white trash. She was trying to get her education. She wanted to get out of that town, and she wanted to do something with herself. Her sister was a stripper, and her mom was, whatever her mom was into. But man, that's Adrienne Palicki. She is. Google search some images of her, and you'll be, whoa, geez, that chick was on a show and I didn't watch? Yeah, that's right. Her and Minka Kelly were on every night, and you guys weren't watching.
No, I was. I watched every single episode.
Talking in general.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, so you liked Friday Night Lights.
That's my soft point. I will watch drama if it has to do with football.
See, I would think that just the very premise of Friday Night Lights would be something you would rule out of hand. And I did initially. I watched the first episode of Friday Night Lights expecting to hate it. And I was like, hey, that was really good.
No, it's football movies and TV shows will be the only thing that'll drive tears out of me.
Oh, really?
Rudy was the first one to do it.
Really?
And then ever since then,
The mythical
I'm like,
Rudy.
if I can get into because you know what it is, like those last moments and like they're in like the state championship and like everything's on the line. I'm getting chills just thinking about it. Like it's like amazing. So yeah, I loved it.
You know, I recently saw Street, who was he was the main head stud quarterback in the first episode of Friday Night Lights, and the whole series was sort of about him and what happens after him. He gets paralyzed, and so he goes from being the next Troy Aikman to being a kid in a wheelchair who's, basically feels his life is over. I saw Street in a movie recently on cable where he played a bad guy, and I couldn't watch it. I couldn't watch it because I'm so invested in rooting for Street.
I know.
First, didn't like that he was walking around.
Yeah.
didn't like that. That made me uncomfortable. Street is supposed to be in a wheelchair, and we're supposed to like really pull for him and root for him. And then he was a dick on top of it.
Yeah.
I was like, that doesn't work for me.
I'm with you. I saw the wife on American Horror Show, and I'm never going to watch this because you will always be the coach's wife.
Oh, but she's hot on American Horror Story.
I'm sure she is, but she's not supposed to be hot. She's supposed to be the coach's wife.
Oh, all right.
She's supposed to be the school counselor.
Supposed to be Coach Taylor's
Principal.
wife.
Yeah.
All right, very good. I didn't know you liked Friday Night Lights. That's good. I like that. That's quality. That's a quality show.
Yeah, it is.
All right, and speaking of, the last thing I want to mention is a little recap from over the weekend here. There is a new quality show that came out on HBO on Sunday. Did anybody see The Newsroom?
Oh,
Jeff Daniels
outstanding.
and Aaron Sorkin of The West Wing and Moneyball and, A Few Good Men. Aaron Sorkin has returned to episodic television with a new HBO series called The Newsroom. Now, Ed, you saw it?
Yes.
You liked it? Jimmy, have you seen it?
I heard things about it this weekend. Yeah.
I watched it. I thought it was awesome.
Really?
I thought it was so incredibly... It was everything. If you watch the news the way you and I watch the news, this is what we want to believe somebody is thinking.
Actually happening, right?
When they go to a commercial break. We want somebody in CNN or wherever to be like Jeff Daniels is. It's basically the story of Jeff Daniels plays a news anchor, a Brian Williams type, Tom Brokaw type. He's known as the Leno of news because he's so protected. He never offends anybody. Nobody knows what he is, whether he's a red or a left. People assume that because he's in the media that he's a liberal, blah, blah, blah. And he's sort of stagnated in his ratings. And he's seeing competition from other things like, the Fox News, the Bill O'Reillys, those kinds of things. So he's now being forced to sort of, I don't know, Ed, help me out here. Sort of reconsider what his role is as a news disseminator, as opposed to someone who maybe when he came up in the 1970s was in the vein of a Walter Cronkite or someone who just gave the story. He's now sort of evolving into what the new era of a news person is and what people expect from him. And it is awesome. Emily Mortimer is the executive producer. He got a new executive producer. They brought her in. If you like The West Wing, it reminded me so much of The West Wing, and I loved The West Wing because The West Wing for me was what I had wished was going on in the White House.
Right.
It was what I wished they would be having conversations about, debates about, arguments about, and not what we seem to think is going on, which is just people staked out in a camp, red team and blue team.
The greatest television show episode ever of any television show of any genre is the season 2 finale of West Wing. Episode called Two Cathedrals.
Oh, you know what? I know that one. Explain it. What is it?
That was the one that it was the episode after his secretary was killed in the car crash, Mrs. Landingham.
Sure.
And it was
by the way, Mrs. Landingham really did die 2 weeks ago.
Really did die 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
It was a number of flashbacks to Jed Bartlett as a youth in school, and they had the funeral in the National Cathedral, and he has the
and he has the argument with God.
He has an argument with God, which was incredibly awesome.
Yeah.
And it was also the same night that they were doing the news conference about his MS.
Yeah.
That had been concealed, and then it was just an unbelievably great. Just phenomenal.
Do you know what we're talking about here? He was standing in the National Cathedral all by himself, his secretary of years and years, a woman who essentially raised him from private school on, who became the White House, the president's secretary.
He served several terms as governor in New Hampshire. She was his right hand, running the state house.
And she dies suddenly in a car accident. And the president is in this empty cathedral, basically the world's most powerful man having an
Having it
shouting
out.
match with God. It was such an amazing. Yeah, it was great.
Well-
and there was a go ahead.
Oh no! The thing that's really funny about West Wing is I've never seen one episode, never seen it, but I have seen so many scenes, so
Yeah.
many scenes because the scenes and the conversations that they would have in this show were things that like randomly I would be like browsing a thread or something, to be like, oh, this reminds me of this conversation here, and all of a sudden it's an unbelievable scene where like somebody's talking about, like, for instance, I ran into one just the other day where he was talking to one of the girls there about something he was going to do. And she said that wasn't very biblical or something like that. And then the president ends up going on to talk about, well, maybe we should do this. Maybe, and like going off of things that were in the Bible.
Yeah.
I thought it was just genius. And there's so many different times that you can actually point to it and say,
It was just interesting writing. Aaron
was.
Sorkin, people either love him or they hate him. I love his writing. He's got tricks that he uses that a lot of people, like to slam him for, like his quick patter and dialogue, the fact that they're always moving. There's never a static scene in an Aaron Sorkin. There's never just two people standing in a hallway having a conversation. They're always rushing down a hallway, and other people are coming towards them in different
Aaron Sorkin does not believe in the medium two shot.
No, he doesn't. It's all supposed to keep you on the edge of your seat. Like, everything is happening so quickly, and these people are so smart that they're juggling so many different problems all at once. For instance, the other thing that Aaron Sorkin is criticized for is his patter. An example of Aaron Sorkin patter is this. Okay, two people talking. Boy, it's hot outside. What, it wasn't hot yesterday? It was hot yesterday. What do you mean it was hot yesterday? It was as hot as it was yesterday as it was today. It's going to be hot tomorrow? I don't know if it's going to be hot tomorrow. That's Aaron Sorkin dialogue, back and forth. People don't really talk like that, but in Aaron Sorkin's universe, when it's a bunch of smart people with witty things to say, everything is witty, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So people are irritated by that. Look, I think it moves the show along. I like a lot of fast dialogue. Mm-hmm. There was a scene. Did you watch the Newsroom?
Yes.
You saw the first episode?
Yeah.
Jimmy, the show sets off with him sitting on he's at NYU in New York City with a bunch of journalism students asking questions of these cable news people. He's up there, Jeff Daniels is up there, and then a couple of other ones are. One of them is obviously a Fox News type,
right?
Who is basically all this jingoistic crap that people want to hear, but not really saying anything. And the question is, a girl stands up, a co-ed, stands up in the audience and asks a question of Jeff Daniels, and she says, "What do you think makes America the greatest country on earth?" And he refuses to answer it a little bit. He makes a little joke, and then the moderator goes, No, I'm not going to let you off the hook on that. I want you to answer that question. What makes America the best country on earth?
Yeah.
And again, you have to remember, he's called the Leno of news because he never says anything that's provocative. He never says anything that's going to cause people to tune out.
Until now.
And he just sort of, he has this like moment, and he goes off on this notion that America is the greatest country on earth, and it shocks everyone. He's like, we're 26th in education, we're this and that. The only thing we lead the world in is defense spending, and he's going off on this, and it's all true. Everything that he's saying is true.
We're not the greatest country on earth. That's my answer.
He goes, but we can be. We can be again. We were once. And he goes in to talk about, how other generations, they've self-sacrificed, and this generation doesn't, and the last few generations don't. It was just so great. And then, of course, a big scandal erupts after that, and that's where the show jumps off.
Right.
This once Leno-esque news guy has just said something really provocative, and everybody's calling him anti-American. And now his executive producer has left the show, and now he's got a brand new executive producer, and he's going in a new direction with the show. That's what it is. It's great. I loved it. I can't wait. The only thing that I hate most about it is that, one, it's an HBO show, which means there will be 18 months between season 1 and season 2. Why do they do that? Yeah. Why do they do that on HBO? I hate that.
Yeah.
I mean, there was once 2 years between Sopranos.
Oh, yeah. Well, there was a contract dispute in there, but yeah.
2 years. The show was gone for 2 years, And now I got this. And I also hate that you would almost be better off just waiting for the whole season to run and then just watch them at your leisure.
That's what I do.
Because I would have watched 4 or 5 hours of the Newsroom on Sunday night, but I only got one.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Have you watched Boss?
Mm-hmm.
Boss is coming back in August. You're going to be, it's going to be a...
Are they still shooting in your building or around your building or something?
Yeah.
Have you seen Boss?
Boss is one of the most incredible things that Kelsey Grammer plays a mythical mayor of Chicago. And and sure, he's corrupt as the day is long, but it is the most incredible performance. And everything they use is so real. And they use actual things that have happened in Chicago and the towns around it and things. But if you can find the time, it's on Hulu, it's on Stars.com.
Yeah.
The first season is only 8 episodes. Invest it. If you're not hooked after the second episode, walk away. But I'm telling you, I think you will be.
Kelsey
And
Grammer.
I'm not saying that because I'm from Chicago. It's just an
it doesn't matter.
unbelievable
it could be
show.
a fictional city. Kelsey Grammer is excellent in this.
And I will say this: the city looks phenomenal.
He's
way they shot,
Actually, I don't like the way they shoot it.
Oh,
I
I
hate.
think it looks
As a matter of
great.
fact, I hate the way they shoot.
I think
They shoot
it's real.
They shoot it cold. They shoot it dirty. They shoot it smoky. I don't.
For a clean city to shoot it dirty, hey, that's great.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
It's real. I walk out my front
you know what
door.
I mean?
That's my city.
It's funny that you brought that up. That you like the look of it. I don't like. I like the look. I like the way my hometown looks in Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
I'm sure you do.
I like that's the way you shoot
like the
that
John
city.
Hughes polished.
Yes. Well, it's not polished. It's summer.
You like the ESPN Sunday Night Football blimp shot of
Yes,
the city. Yeah,
that's
I know.
What I like. That's what I like. That's what looks good. Boss it's gritty. You know, they're making you think that it's like
so good.
it's almost like the way Baltimore was framed in The Wire.
There you
know?
go, yeah.
I don't like that.
Framed.
But cities, Chicago's way prettier than Baltimore.
Yeah, Baltimore was framed. Look, I've been to
Okay.
Baltimore. There are nice parts of Baltimore. You wouldn't know it
Yeah.
from watching The Wire.
No, you
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've only been to like a few areas in Baltimore because we were driving through. In a few of those areas, I wanted out.
Well, you were obviously on the interstates,
Yeah.
and they put all the public housing near the interstates so that ease for when you have to roll the tanks in to control the population. You go into the city, go by the bay, go in the down, get yourself some crab cakes. I tell everybody,
Yeah.
people who watch The Wire who've never been anywhere, they think that Baltimore is.
There's a rat hole.
Yes, it's not. It's a beautiful city with some very bad areas. Some very bad areas. All right, the new show on HBO is called The Newsroom. Again, there's Olympic time trials on tonight, but really not much else. That's going to do it. Ed, anything? Once again, tell people, because there's a lot of people, Chicagoans, who listen to this, who are down here now and whatnot. So doll.com, talk a little bit about that.
What do you want to know? DAHL.com is the home of the Dollcast, Steve Dahl Podcast Network.
Steve Dahl, legendary personality, broadcaster.
The man who Howard Stern stole his act from.
And that's what people in the know say.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, and
And did great with it. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. Well, Steve did okay too,
Steve did just fine.
and now he is not retired, but is taking himself off terrestrial radio because he is. I was telling Jimmy about this. Steve was the first guy I ever heard say the word internet. He was the first person I ever heard, like back in the late 80s, early 90s. He was talking about Prodigy.
Well, 17 years ago, I first met Steve after growing up listening to him and started doing work with him. And he had already been on the internet a couple of years at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, so he was definitely an early adopter.
So ahead of his time. I mean, I remember in the mid-90s complaining to people that I couldn't listen to his show anymore because all he talked about was the stupid internet that nobody cared about.
Yeah, and look where you are now.
yeah, and look at it now. He was right.
Think it's got legs? Think this internet thing's going to stick around?
I think it might stick around for a
Okay.
little while. All right, and that's doll.com again.
DAHL.com.
For other people who may be familiar with some of the names, Kevin Matthews has a show on there.
Kevin Matthews does a show twice a week. James Van Osdol does a show once a week. Dino Stamatopoulos once a week.
That's Starburns from Community.
Starburns from Community.
Yeah.
If you grew up listening to Steve Dahl and Gary Meyer back in the 80s, every Saturday we do a 1 to 2 hour Steve and Gary best of
Really?
from back in the day. Absolutely.
So he owns the tapes.
Oh, yeah.
Good. Very nice. All right, that's doll.com. That's Ed. Jimmy, anything you want to hit before we leave?
No, not really.
Nope, that's
So
it.
good.
All right, that's today's Tuesday podcast for PMS, the Pugs Moran Show on The Bar Live, thebarlive.com. Back tomorrow. Bye, everybody.